The Lions have won the toss. Will receive. Josh Brown will get things started for the Giants. Jeremy Ross, a couple of return touchdowns 2 weeks ago in the snow in Philadelphia, is back deep for the Lions, who must win today to stay alive. Lions need 2 wins and at least 1 loss by both Green Bay and Chicago. Week 16, we are underway here at Ford Field in Detroit. Taken out the goal line by Ross, who started the season with the Green Bay Packers. And Ross is wrestled down at the 16-yard line as Matthew Stafford leads the Lions offense onto the field.
Yeah, and it's been a tough month of December for Matthew Stafford, and there was a lot of emphasis placed on that game Monday night with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm anxious to see how this Lions team responds to that loss. They said they had a great week of practice. We'll see if it shows up here on Sunday.
Lions lost the game Monday on a 61-yard field goal by the Ravens. Justin Tucker on 1st and 10 from the 16. This is Reggie Bush up the middle for a short gain, wrapped up by the combination of Linval Joseph and Mathias Kiwanuka.
Well, Adrian Waddle kind of settled down that right tackle spot, really the one position on an offensive line that is much improved from last season. And you add to that the fact that you've got Calvin Johnson, you added Reggie Bush, Nate Burleson is back in the lineup, Chris Durham has stepped up. There's a lot of firepower on this offense. They should not find themselves in this position right now.
Lions without tight end Brandon Pettigrew today, as Bush takes it out to the 24 for a gain of 6. 3rd down and 2 upcoming as we check out the 10th ranked Giants defense.
And it's been a tough season for these guys. They've been asked to do a lot with the amount of turnovers by the offense, the short fields. It's been a challenge for them. John Beeson, the addition of him into the starting lineup has been fantastic, really solidified that. And Antrel Rolle is having a heck of a year at the strong safety spot.
Joique Bell in the backfield for the Lions. 2 tight ends. 3rd down and 2. This is Bell. Cuts to the outside and picks up a 1st down. Joique Bell, nice compliment to Reggie Bush, who's had an outstanding season for the Lions.
Yeah, he really has, and you know, maybe even to the point where maybe not a compliment to Reggie Bush, maybe a really, really good 1-2 punch, 1A, 1B. Very impressed with what Joique Bell has done this season. We've had them a couple of times. It's been fun to watch his progression.
Wide receiver Chris Durham limped off after the last play, replaced by Kevin Ogletree, who was split wide to the right. 3 receivers set on 1st and 10 from the 34. Stafford throws, and the catch is made, and then breaking free to pick up the Lions' 1st down is the rookie tight end out of UCLA, Joe Fourier.
Just one of these quick passes that we see the good spot by Joe Fourier getting there in that little soft spot, but now you got to make the tackle. John Beeson's right there. It's going to be a short gain, but he's up high around that chest area.
For Fourier, it's only his 13th reception, but he has scored 7 touchdowns. So another 1st down for the Lions. Chris Durham back in.
Hey, fan it!
From the 46, this is Bush.
Really surprised at this Detroit offense going right at the strength of the Giants' really whole team, that defensive line, Darryl.
Yeah, you know what, Tony? They've done a nice job against some top-flight running backs this season. You know, you talk about LaShawn McCoy twice, Matt Forte. They've gone up against some good running backs and have played well against them.
Giants have held 7 of the top rushers in the NFL in check this season. 2nd down and 9. Off the fake to Bush. Stafford looking to set up the screen. Pass was intended for the tight end, Doran Dickerson. Kiwanuka had him wrapped up.
I think some of the defensive linemen have become so athletic in the game today that the old-fashioned screen that was run when I was playing the game is a very difficult play to execute. Mathias Kiwanuka does a great job of reading the offensive lineman, understanding what play is coming, finding the receiver that's in that screen, and making that play.
Yeah, they run a little play action to come off of that. It slows all the defense down. That's why they'll play Went for nothing right there.
Yeah, you see more of that bubble screen, that wide receiver type screen to get on the edge quick.
Kiwanuka once again starting for the injured Jason Pierre-Paul. Play clock at 2.
What?
Lions get the snap away on 3rd down and 9. Stafford fires, and the catch is made for a first down by Calvin Johnson at the Giants' 36-yard line, a 17-yard completion.
And I don't think Calvin Johnson gets enough credit. His coming across the middle. We see him on the outside with the big splash plays on go routes and things like that, but he is fearless coming across the middle. Because remember, Antrel Rolle is there. He's reading this the entire time. Gets there right as the ball's coming in with the hit. And there's Ryan Mundy to help out.
The 82nd reception of the season for Calvin Johnson. New set of downs for the Lions. From the Giants' 36, it's Reggie Bush. Gains 3 down to the 33-yard line.
The other part of that running back combination and really watching Reggie Bush and how he's become a very consistent runner at the NFL level. He told us earlier this season when he came into the NFL, he thought it was going to be easy. It was going to be like college. He could beat people to the edge, and you've watched that progression, you know, while he was at Miami and now coming here to Detroit. He's a much more in-tune running back with how things have to happen at this level.
Approaching 1,000 yards on the ground. Start of the day just 60-yard shot. Joy Bell in the backfield, 2nd down and 7. Stafford's pass is intended for his roommate at the University of Georgia, Chris Durham.
Yeah, there has to be a miscommunication here on this one. I think Matthew Stafford expected Chris Durham to kind of sit it down right here in that soft spot, and Chris continues to break it towards the sideline. I think that's a challenge at the NFL level now. A lot of flexibility at the top of routes. Is there enough time at practice to get in sync to execute these routes to the way where both quarterback and wide receiver are seeing the exact same thing?
10th play of the drive. Lions have already picked up 3 first downs. They must get to the Giants' 26. Stafford on 3rd down and 7. In trouble. Down he goes. What a series for Kiwanuka. 4 tackles and now a sack.
Well, he was very vocal after the game last week. There was some discussion about the offensive side not holding up their end of the bargain, and Mathias Kiwanuka was one of the guys who did a lot of the talking. So if you're going to do that, you got to come out here and get ready to play. That's a heck of an inside move on Riley Reiff. Beats him immediately and is free to Matthew Stafford.
5th sack of the season. It takes the Lions out of field goal range. So Sam Martin waiting at his own 40. Ruben Randall is back deep for the Giants. End over end punt. Fair catch is called for at the 9 by Randall. Kiwanuka and the Giants. Good start. Back in Detroit, early first quarter. Giants will start from their own 9-yard line. Eli Manning on 1st down. It's complete to Hakeem Nicks, who takes it out to the 23. Gain of 14 at a Giants 1st down. Carolina with a huge win over the New Orleans Saints, so the Panthers clinch a playoff berth. And Dallas and Philadelphia will play for the division next Sunday.
Yeah, for the 3rd year in a row, the Dallas Cowboys go into the final week of the regular season with an opportunity to be the NFC East champions. Can they finally pull it out?
Losing the last 2 years to the Giants and the Redskins. Manning complete to the tight end, Brandon Myers, out of the 29. Gain of 6 as we check out the Giants on offense.
Well, it's been a tough year for the Giants, and a lot of that has to do with the guys up front. Brandon Mosley gets his first NFL start, and it's been a revolving door up there in that offensive line, and that has kind of handcuffed a lot of the other things. You add to that the fact that they've had a ton of different running back combinations, and it's been very difficult for Eli Manning and this offense to establish any type of consistency from week to week.
7th different starting offensive line combination as Mosley starts for the injured David Deal. Giants without Victor Cruz, the top wide receiver. Play clock at 1. Giants get the snap away as Manning hands it off to Michael Cox, who is tackled by Louis Delmas. So 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Giants.
And actually some concern expressed this week about that offensive line of the Giants going up against this defensive line. It drives this defense. Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh very physical up front. DeAndre Levy having a heck of a year at the linebacker spot. And again, consistency, we talk about that. Glover Quinn and Louis Delmas, the same starting safety combination all season for the Detroit Lions.
But the Lions are without both of their starting quarterbacks. Lions use a timeout.
First charge, timeout, Detroit.
Chris Houston and Rasheed Mathis, the 2 starting corners for the Lions, both out today. They're down and 4 for Eli Manning and the Giants. Midway through the first quarter here in Detroit. Giants must get to the 33 for a first down, and they do. The catch is made by Louis Murphy Jr., so the Giants able to move the chains.
It's been a tough season for Eli Manning. You see the interceptions right there, and you know, when you have issues up front, it impacts you everywhere. It's been strange to watch these guys during the course of the season. That, you know, when you talk about Hakeem Nicks and Ruben Randall and Victor Cruz early on in the season, they've played together for a while, but they have not been in sync all season long. And you mentioned, Kenny, Victor Cruz is out for the year. That was their one go-to guy for Eli Manning. We'll see how they adjust to that this afternoon.
1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Manning throws it into the ground as he was under pressure. Andre Brown in the vicinity. Giants shut out last week at home by Seattle. 2nd time Giants have been shut out this season. Tom Coughlin after the game referred to the offensive performance as, quote, pathetic. He said the next day it was not as much about effort but execution. And the Giants until today were the only team in the entire league to get shut out this season, but the Dolphins did not score in Buffalo, losing to the Bills 19-0. 2nd down and 10. Inside handoff to Andre Brown, and it's C.J. Mosley who makes the tackle from behind. So Giants now staring at 3rd down and 10.
Well, that was the concern coming into this game, Kenny, was the fact that when you watch it on film, it was a pathetic offensive performance. And these guys know that. The offensive linemen knew. The Seattle defense actually dominated that game up front and on the outside. So, yeah, this is another very good physical defense, especially in that front. Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, has got to take that into consideration with his game plan.
3rd down and 10. Manning rolling right. Now he throws, and it is incomplete. Jarrell Jernigan unable to make the catch and come down inbounds, so the Giants will punt it away.
And this is one of the ways you're going to counteract that. You're going to move the pocket, get your quarterback out on the edge, but you've got to make the plays. They're going to be there to make from time to time. Let's see this here. Let's see if he's got possession. 2 feet down, all the way through the process of the catch.
And Tom Coughlin will challenge.
That looks like it could be a catch on the sideline for the New York Giants. That is a huge challenge.
Certainly looked to us like Jernigan got both feet down and maintained possession. Tom Coughlin challenged the last play, initially ruled an incomplete pass. Mike Pereira joining us from Los Angeles. Mike, we think it will be overturned and ruled a catch. What about you?
I would never disagree with you guys. I think he gets control with the left toe still on the ground, right toe drags before the knee hits out of bounds, and then most importantly, he maintains possession when he hits the ground out of bounds and rolls over. So I think you have a catch here, which would give the Giants a 1st down.
After reviewing the play, it is a completed catch. The receiver maintained control of the ball, got 2 feet down inbounds, and kept the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. It'll be 1st down and 10 at the Giants' 46-yard line. New York has not charged a timeout.
And that's important for the Giants offense just from the confidence standpoint, because it's going to be critical for them to stay ahead of the chains in down and distance. They do not want to be in 3rd and longs. They were 3rd and 10-ish right there against that Detroit Lion front and were able to convert. So that's a big feather in Kevin Gilbride's cap right there. Good play call, getting Eli Manning outside of that pocket.
Kevin Gilbride, who received a vote of confidence this week from both Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. The toss to Andre Brown. He is into Lions territory, and Brown picks up another Giants first down to the Detroit 43, a gain of 11.
And you want to stay away from those two big tackles inside, so expect some runs on the perimeter. Get on the edge as quick as you can. If you're a defensive end, you've got to anticipate a receiver or a tight end from the outside collapse down in. That time it was Bear Pasco that got the good seal at the end of the line that allowed Andre Brown to get downfield around the corner.
Brown is the Giants' leading rusher this season, despite having played in only 6 games. Manning steps up and fires downfield. Too far for Ruben Randall.
I'll tell you what, Eli Manning, a lot of time in the pocket. You know, that was the big question mark that we talked about. You know, will he have enough time with Sue and Fairley there in the middle? But that offensive line does a great job. You see them all right here holding them up on the line of scrimmage. Eli has plenty of time to look downfield to his receivers.
An offensive line, Goose, without Pro Bowler Chris Snee. Top 2 centers are on IR, David Boss and Jim Cordell. And without the veteran David Deal today. 2nd and 10. 3 wide receiver set from the Lions 43. 10th play of the drive for Manning and the Giants. Pass a bit short, intended for Jarrell Jernigan.
Yeah, this is not where Eli Manning wants to be right now. 3rd and 10. You know, you're really telegraphing those defensive linemen exactly what you're doing. They're going to be in pass rush mode, getting upfield. They're doing a good job up front, too, getting their hands up.
Giants with 4 first downs on this drive. This will be the 11th play. Going up against the top 3rd down defense in the league. Play clock at 1. High snap. Giants must get to the 33. And they do. It is Jernigan who picks up a first down, finally tackled by Delmas. Gain of 18 for Jarrell Jernigan, the 3rd-year receiver. Tom Coughlin very happy with Jernigan last week, 7 receptions against the Seahawks.
Yeah, the one guy that he was complimentary of, but those guys up front getting the job done. And that was another one, as Tony pointed out. That's 3rd and 10. So twice on this drive, the Giants get themselves in that difficult situation, but are able to work their way out of it. Jarrell Jernigan with a catch on both of those.
5th Giants first down. Andre Brown up the middle to the Lions 23.
Andre Brown, one of those running backs, and Kevin Booth, the center, talked to us about this. He does a nice job of always falling forward, so he gets us that extra 1.5 yards, 2 yards that really along the course of the drive becomes beneficial, because a mindset as you look from the huddle or you're walking up and you see that it's only 2nd and 7 or it's 3rd and 4. It's a completely different mindset for your players.
One of 6 different starting running backs used by the Giants. Peyton Hillis is inactive today. Brown split wide to the right. Giants empty the backfield on 2nd and 8 as Manning fires. He was looking for Hakeem Nicks, who is without a touchdown this season. No touchdowns his last 17 games.
Well, Eli has missed twice on this drive. He missed Ruben Randall earlier. Here's Hakeem Nicks. You're going to do that little screen here. It's a nice play design. They bite on it. He gets the separation. But those are one of those plays that you put in your offense. You draw up for the red zone or the red zone fringe, and it's an opportunity for the big touchdown. And Eli knows that he missed one right there.
So another 3rd and long. Giants are 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive. Bunch formation to the left. Giants must get to the Lions 15. As Manning throws, and it's through the hands of the tight end Brandon Myers. So the Giants will send out the field goal unit after a 14-play drive.
Well, they had the bunch formation to the left. You see it right there, but Eli was really focused more to the right side of the field. As he scrambled late, he found Brandon Myers, but off target again. So we've seen a couple of times here on that opening drive where Eli's been off target with his throws.
That ball was catchable, though, right there.
So here is Josh Brown, who has not attempted a field goal over the last 2 games. 41-yard attempt from straight away. Steve Weatherford places it down. Brown's kick is good. So the Giants, after getting shut out by Seattle last week, are on the scoreboard. Lead the Lions 3-0. Jim Schwartz and the Detroit Lions started the season 6-3, but they have lost 4 of their last 5. Lions had a lead in the fourth quarter in all 4 of those losses.
And that's the inability to finish, and that has to be maddening, because when you sat at 6-3, you had injuries to Cutler, injuries to Rodgers within your division. This was theirs for the taking, and they have not been able to do it.
Ross out to the 17-yard line. Matthew Stafford and the Lions offense trailing Eli Manning and the Giants 3-0.
Cover your eyes, Giants fans. There goes Brandon Mosley, who was in at right guard for the injured David Deal. We'll find out how the Giants shuffle that line again when their offense comes back on the field.
Mosley does not make it through the first quarter in his first NFL start. Headed to the locker room as Bush gains 3 out to the 21. 2nd and 7 upcoming. So again, the Lions need to win today. Eliminated with a loss. They must win their final 2 games, today over the Giants and next week in Minnesota, and hope for the Bears and Packers to both lose once. Green Bay and Chicago play each other next week.
But there's that old saying from Bill Parcells, you are who your record says you are, and I don't look at this team as a 7-7 team. To me, they'd be a team if they got in the playoffs. I'd be nervous about playing it because the upside, the potential is so great, but they just have not played with consistency.
Stafford on 2nd and 7. And Calvin Johnson makes the catch for a Lions first down out of the 31.
Matthew Stafford was going with Calvin Johnson the whole time right here, Darryl. One-on-one on the outside.
Yeah, and again, he can work every type of route. This is your comeback route to the outside. Good location by Matthew Stafford. So we've seen Calvin Johnson. Look at the strength at the point of the catch. I mean, Prince Amukamara he's got his hands to deflect that ball out of his grasp, but he can. His hands are so strong.
From the 31 on first down, this is Bell. And Troy Bell breaks 3 for a Lions first down and more. Bell out to the 48-yard line, a gain of 17.
They lost him, Goose.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he did a nice job of being patient, ran into one of his own offensive linemen, and then just kept running and found the crease and hit right up in there. Check him out right here. All you need is a little crease. That's exactly what he got.
Chris Durham in motion, 1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. Again, it is Bell. Bell in his 3rd season. He spent some time with the Bills, the Colts, and the Eagles. He attended Wayne State here in Michigan. He actually worked his freshman year as a part-time security guard right here at Ford Field during Lions home games.
That's a great story. You just keep working. You know, keep your nose to the grindstone, keep pushing, and he's really created a really dynamic situation in the backfield for the Detroit Lions. You watched them play last year. They had no threat of a running game. They really haven't had a threat of a running game for about 2 seasons. And Reggie Bush and Joique Bell this year have been really, really good at creating that for the Lions.
3 receivers set, 2nd down and 5. 3rd straight play, they've gone to Bell. And this time it is Justin Tuck who wraps him up after a short gain to the 46-yard line of the Giants. So it will be 3rd down and 3 as time winds down in this first quarter here in Detroit.
And early in the game to call this a critical play, but you know, here's a situation right here for the Lions. You know, we're getting near the end of the first quarter. The Giants, you know, with a nice drive to get some points right there. Jim Schwartz and his team, they got to be able to convert here, get some momentum going. There's too much talent on the offensive side of the ball.
Reggie Bush checks back in, 3rd down and 3. Stafford's pass is caught by Bush, and he picks up a first down to the Giants' 39-yard line, a gain of 8 from Stafford to Bush. As the first quarter comes to an end here in Detroit with the Lions on the move. They need a win to stay alive. Trail Justin Tuck and the Giants 3-0. Matthew Stafford, only in his 5th season, holds most of the franchise passing records. But check out his career record coming into the season against teams that finish above 500, just 1-22.
And that's where he has to become more consistent. They have to start beating the better teams in the NFL if they're going to get to the playoffs at the point that they want to be at.
Stafford with loads of time, and now he fires downfield, looking for the tight end, Fourier. Will Hill on the coverage.
Lots of time here in the pocket, able to move around a little bit, extend this play. We've seen both of our quarterbacks with opportunities down the field. See Joseph Fourier there as the play breaks down, kind of finds that little soft spot.
Now 2nd and 10 from the Giants 39. On the slant, it's Ogletree. The former Cowboy and Buccaneer grew up in Queens, New York in a big game against the Giants with Dallas opening night last season, and Ogletree gains 13.
Staple play in this offense that you have to be able to stop, and it's not just Calvin Johnson. It's going to be Nate Burleson. It's going to be Kevin Ogletree. That slant off the play action out of the shotgun.
Calvin Johnson, 2 catches today, questionable all week due to knee issues. From the 26 on 1st down, and that pass is broken up by Tremaine McBride.
He's trying to thread that one in there, isn't he?
Well, you know, he can make a lot of throws. He can make them from a lot of different angles at his release point, but it also gets him into trouble, and that's played very, very well by Tremaine McBride. He kind of baits him into that. He's underneath. He's going to be able to undercut this. Has a chance for the interception. Really drops it. That should have been intercepted by Tremaine McBride. And getting back to Calvin Johnson, he was a game-time decision today. We saw him working out, stretching. He's not 100%. He doesn't have that explosion off his release from the line of scrimmage. And that last comeback we saw earlier in this drive, he came up a little bit limping from that.
Stafford faked the end around, then he hits Bell, but Antrell Roll is right there.
He's doing a nice job downfield blocking, though, Darryl, I'll tell you that.
Well, he's as big as a tight end.
Man, those long arms. Check him out right here. There he is. One-on-one basketball.
Calvin Johnson approaching 1,500 yards for the 3rd straight season. No player has ever accomplished that 3 straight years. Just 24 yards shy. 3rd down and 7. Lions must get to the Giants 16. Stafford under pressure. Hits Bell. And Bell will be stopped short. John Beeson, who's been terrific since the trade from Carolina, and the Lions will send out the field goal unit.
And this is what I mean when I talk about, you know, different release points with his arm angle. You see this right there? It's that little sidearm, and you're going to have to be able to do that at times. You've got pressure right in your face on a screen pass. If you try to go up and over, it's going to be deflected. So he's on the sidearm underneath.
So here's David Akers now to attempt a 37-yard field goal. Lions 10 plays on their opening possession, no points. 12 plays, 3 points on their second possession. So Akers ties the game at 3. This January, it's a showdown between 2 of the most explosive offenses in the country. 13th ranked Oklahoma State and number 8 Missouri in the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Coverage begins Friday, January 3rd, 7:30 Eastern, right here on Fox. Lions hope to be playing in January, tied at 3 with the Giants. Michael Cox is back deep. Sam Martin had handled kickoffs for the Lions for most of the season, bothered by a groin injury, which does not affect him on punts. So it's Akers kicking off for the 2nd straight week. No opportunity for a return. Giants will start at their own 20. Many games with playoff implications today. Broncos clinch the division and a 1st-round bye. Patriots win the AFC East for the 10th time in the last 11 years. Bengals back in the postseason for the 3rd straight year. How about the Carolina Panthers? They have won 10 of their last 11. Carolina heading to the postseason.
What do you think, Goose? Carolina maybe the best defense in the NFC going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they play the run as good as anybody and the pass. I mean, they're very well balanced. They all run to the ball. Ron Rivera has that team really playing extremely well.
Victory over the New Orleans Saints today at home, 17-13, as Manning hits Ruben Randall on first down. And a nice tackle is made by Ashley Palmer, holding Randall to a gain of just 2.
Here's one of the things that the Giants are going to attempt to do during the course of the game. You see how wide Ndamukong Suh is. That's not where they want to go. They want to get out to Nick Fairley right here. He's in tighter. That's going to allow them to get the double team between the center and the guard in the run game, or to be able to turn him quickly like that in the pass game outside. That'll be one of the things that Eli Manning looks for when he comes to the line of scrimmage. Which tackle is closest to my guard? That's where I have to attack.
A reminder, Brandon Mosley went to the locker room for x-rays on his hand, so it's Dallas Reynolds in at right guard, replacing Mosley as Brown takes it out to the 34-yard line. Reynolds, number 61. He started 14 games for the Eagles last season, now at right guard for the Giants.
And Goose, that's one of the things that we always talk about when you play Detroit. They're so aggressive with their upfield move as the defensive line that can you get outside and do some pulls and traps, but they're so athletic and they're so disruptive that that's a pretty steep gamble.
It really is. I'll tell you what, this offensive line is doing a nice job on those guys inside.
3rd down and 6. Giants must get to the 30 for a first down, and that pass deflects away from Jernigan. DeAndre Levy on the coverage. Giants go 3 and out.
Well, that's pretty impressive for a linebacker right there. It's your one wide receiver who's made some big plays for you today for the Giants, Jarrell Jernigan. And look at DeAndre Levy out there in coverage.
DeAndre Levy tied for the NFL lead in interceptions this season with 6, with Antrell Rolle of the Giants and Richard Sherman of the Seahawks. Weatherford punting from his 14-yard line. And a fair catch is called for on the run by Ross at the 35. A 41-yard punt. Calvin Johnson of the Lions offense when we return. Back in Detroit, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Lions have not won a division title since 1993. They need to win their final 2 games and hope that Chicago and Green Bay both lose 1. On 1st and 10 from the 35, this is Reggie Bush. Bush takes it out to the 38-yard line for a gain of 3, setting up 2nd down and 7. Green Bay Packers leading Pittsburgh Steelers 7-0. Chicago Bears in action later tonight in Philadelphia. And for the Eagles, the result of tonight's game does not mean anything. They know they will be playing the Cowboys for the division next week in Dallas. Off the play fake. Stafford connects with the tight end, Doran Dickerson. And there is a flag. It's against the Lions.
Offensive pass interference down the field on a
Pass
bootleg.
interference. Offense, number 13. Blocking downfield on a passing play prior to the pass. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That's on Nate Burleson. First penalty of today's game.
Keep an eye on Nate Burleson as he releases down the field. Now you've got Doran Dickerson coming from the opposite side of the field. You know, that's just a little bit of contact. I don't see the block right there. And we talk about this every week. Part of this game is the filling out process of how are they going to call pass interference during the course of the game. Well, it seems like based on that call, they're going to be very, very tight in their call. They're not going to let these guys be physical on the outside.
Following the penalty, now 2nd down and 17 for the Lions. Stafford under pressure, forced to get rid of it. It was Jaquan Williams with the pressure on Stafford.
No, Darryl, I think you hit it early there. With all the weapons that they have on this team, I'm really surprised they're not trying to stretch the field more, this Detroit offense. A lot of screens, a lot of short runs like we just saw right there. You know, I'm really surprised at what they've opened up with in this game.
You know, Matthew Stafford has thrown a lot of interceptions over the last 5 weeks. So there may be that, you know, going into the game. Hey, let's not beat ourselves. Let's try and get something to move the ball consistently down the field. And I don't know how healthy Calvin Johnson is this afternoon.
And you also don't have the starting tight end Pettigrew. 10 interceptions the last 5 games. Thrown by Stafford. Looking to throw here on 3rd down and 17. He gets away from Kiwanuka. And now throws, and the catch is made by the tight end Fourier. And he looks to have a Lions first down. Needed to get to the 45-yard line. It is close. Will depend on the spot.
It's one of the things you have to guard against when you play Matthew Stafford. He's very good at extending the play. He's very good at throwing the ball on the run. And this is a situation of a player trying to do too much. Jaquan Williams, all he has to do is stay with his man. There's no reason for him to come up and try and help out on the quarterback. He does a tremendous job right here. Uses the rules, but he loses track of them.
And Fourier did pick up the first down on 3rd and 17. Now in the backfield, takes the handoff, stumbles forward, and gains a yard out to the 46.
Those are backbreakers, Tony. You get an offense into a 3rd and 17, and a broken play gets them the first down.
Yep. That's when that momentum starts.
Second down and 9 for Stafford and the Lions, tied at 3. Second quarter here in Detroit. It's Bell again up the middle, and Joyce Bell looks to have another Detroit Lions first down.
That is really well blocked by everybody up front for the Detroit Lions. They've got a hat on a hat, and Joyce Bell just gets downhill. And Prince Amukamara gets to feel that at the end. Good finish by Joyce Bell.
Bell averaging over 6 yards per carry, 37 yards on 6 carries so far today for Joyce Bell. Now it is Bush in the backfield on first down. Pass nearly intercepted. It's McBride again, who almost had one earlier. Pass intended for Kevin Ogletree.
I don't know why so quick on this one. Matthew Stafford doesn't have any pressure in his face here, and I don't think the route has had all the time to develop. And maybe he sees John Beeson coming from the inside out, but you can see right there, it looked like it was thrown a little bit early.
There's McBride. His only NFL pick came back in 2008 with the Bears. Chance for 2 here in the first half. Second down and 10. Reggie Bush. Bush to the 41-yard line. Ball came loose. And Andrew Roll has it. So the Lions turn it over for the 32nd time this season. Only the Giants have committed more turnovers than Detroit. It was punched loose by Mathias Kiwanuka. Roll on the recovery. Following the Lions turnover, Giants start at the Detroit 49. Play action. Manning going deep for Ruben Randall. And it's off the hands of the strong safety, Glover Quinn.
Well, I like the aggressive call right there. You know, you get the turnover, you're near midfield. Let's take a shot at the end zone, see if we can get a touchdown. Watch Bear Pass go. They're going to secure the end right there. You got John Connor, so we're going to make sure that Eli Manning has all the time he has and he needs to get this ball downfield. But Glover Quinn, step for step with Ruben Randall.
I like the call, though. Stretch the field. Give him a shot to go up and get the ball.
Bill Bryant, Giants offensive coordinator, now second and 10. Manning fakes the inside handoff to Brown. On the slant, it is Nix. And Hakeem Nicks picks up a Giants first down. Time for a game break on the Packers and the Steelers with Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Kenny, let's go up to the frozen tundra. How about this scene? Steelers, Packers in the snow. Ben Roethlisberger flushed out of the pocket to his left. He finds Emmanuel Sanders. We got a tie ball game. It's 7-7 in Green Bay. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. Lions keeping a close eye on that one. Packers and Steelers tied at 7. First and 10 for the Giants from the Lions 37. This is Andre Brown. Brown gains a yard down to the Detroit 36. As we mentioned earlier, Lions had at least a share of first place for 10 weeks of this season. But it is now the Bears at 8-6, Green Bay 7-6-1. Bears in action tonight at Philadelphia. Lions need 2 wins plus help. At least 1 loss by both Green Bay and Chicago.
And Jim Schwartz's rallying point this week was we're not eliminated yet. There's a lot of teams around the NFL that are eliminated. We don't have control of our own destiny, but we're not out of this thing yet.
Second down and 8. Here is Brown. And coming up to make the tackle, the rookie out of South Carolina, Devin Taylor, but there are 2 flags. Well, Jerome Boger attempting to turn on his mic twice. It's a hold against the Giants.
Yeah, I think Jim Schwartz was trying to find out what the result would be.
Number 83, that penalty is declined. The result of the play, 3rd down.
So it's more like a tackle than a hold here on the outside. Brandon Myers here, tight end. Willie Young on the inside move and sort of like grabbing around the waist right there. That's going to be called every time.
And that's something that the Giants are going to have to be aware of. They're going to try to expand their splits to take that defensive end outside, but he's going to go out with you, but then he's also going to be able to have the ability to come back inside. His choice. So that's going to be a fun game to watch out on the perimeter.
Loss of 5, Lions decline the penalty. 3rd down and 13 is Manning. Roll to his right, now throws to his left, and Andre Brown takes it all the way down to the 26-yard line of the Lions, and he picks up a Giants first down. He needed 13, and he gained 14 yards.
Oh, boy, I tell you, just some nice play calling today by the Giants. Andre Brown right here. Let's see how he sneaks out. We're going to dash out to the right. Hang, hang, hang. That's your traditional blocking style, and then he just slips out. Good job, Kevin Booth, James Brewer getting out in front.
Nice job being patient by those guys, too. Not giving it away real early. Let the linebackers drop, get a little bit of separation.
He's been under fire all week. That's Kevin Gilbride, your offensive coordinator, but he's called a good game so far today with an undermatched offensive line.
On 1st and 10, inside handoff, Brown. Brown down to the 21. Stephen Tulloch made the tackle. Brandon Mosley started the game at right guard for the Giants. He has suffered a broken hand back out with the cast, and we are told his return today is questionable.
Just in case they need it, they're running out of offensive linemen.
We don't want to play him, but if we have to, he has to go in.
He's got one good arm, you know.
They have only one.
We'll put him on the left side.
Only one backup who is not on the field, and that's Stephen Gooden, who has never played in an NFL game. This is Brown. Brown cuts to the outside and is taken down by Delmas. Louis Delmas coming up to make the tackle. Gain of 1, so it is now 3rd down and 5 for the Giants as they look to capitalize on the Reggie Bush turnover.
But this is the thing that's frustrating to me about the Detroit Lions. We've talked about the challenge up front with the New York Giants and their offensive line with the matchups against Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley. Now, this is a very physical defensive line, and the Giants are moving the ball consistently. I don't understand why this front is not taking control.
Jernigan in motion. 3rd down and 5. Manning moving to his right. Now he throws, and the catch is made. Extending for the first down to the 15-yard line is Ruben Randall. Gain of 6. So the Giants once again able to move the chains on 3rd down.
Some subtle changes in what the Giants are doing, moving the pocket, not putting Eli at a point where Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley and all these guys can converge on him. They're starting to figure it out now. On that last one, as they dashed to the right, and Ndamukong Suh got a good read and kind of spun to the outside.
1st and 10 from the Lions' 15-yard line. Manning 9 of 16 for 90 yards. Play clock now at 2. And the Giants did not get the snap away in time. Whistles prior to the play.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Let's see the end of this play. Let's see if this was going to be a touchdown. Was this caught by Jarrell Jernigan? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But the play blown dead due to the delay of game. So the Giants push back to the 20-yard line. Of course, some of the Lion defenders may have stopped when they heard the whistles. And now,
But here's the frustrating
a timeout.
part. Exactly, Kenny. A timeout after a delay of game.
Play clock winding down once again. But when we return, 1st and 15 for the Giants. Late second quarter in Detroit. Giants and Lions tied at 3. Jarrell Jernigan in motion. 1st and 15 from the Lions 20. Manning throws, end zone, Jernigan, touchdown.
It's a heck of a throw by Eli Manning right there. And Bill Bentley, I think he hit his head at the end of this play on the turf. But watch this, goes in motion, playing the outside leverage on an inside route, but watch the throw by Eli Manning in between two people. Looks like he might have got some contact also from Louis Delmas as he crossed right in front of him. Yeah, so he gets the double whammy.
First NFL touchdown for Jarrell Jernigan. We spoke to Tom Coughlin yesterday, and he was very impressed with Jernigan's toughness last week, both on offense and on returns against Seattle, and he's holding on to that football. First career score.
Absolutely. He was the leading receiver last week, and you mentioned earlier, Kenny, the overall assessment of the offensive performance by Tom Coughlin was pathetic. But he did signal out Jarrell Jernigan for having a good game, not only in production-wise, but he also talked about his physicality. He took a big hit, popped up last week, kept playing.
So the Giants drive 9 plays, 49 yards following the Reggie Bush fumble. Knocked loose by Mathias Kiwanuka, who had a sack on the Lions' first possession, which took Detroit out of field goal range. Lions forced to punt. Eli Manning with the touchdown pass to Jernigan. It's Manning's 150th consecutive start. Only Brett Favre and his brother Peyton have longer streaks in the history of the NFL among quarterbacks, and Lions training staff continuing to work on Bill Bentley, second-year corner, third-round pick in 2012. And remember, Detroit already without their 2 starting cornerbacks in Chris Houston and Rasheed Mathis today.
And you're going to see, I think that the big issue here is as Louis Delmas comes across, you're going to see his hip and forearm make contact with Bill Bentley, and you see that whip motion, and then the head hits the turf as well.
Lions medical staff continues to chat with Bill Bentley as teammates gather around.
Looks like he's finally sat up. That's why the Giant players are clapping.
Well, he did sit up
Now up on his feet.
a couple of seconds after he had the injury. He tried to sit up, and then they made him lay back down.
Reggie Bush has got to put this past him.
Yeah,
he had a
is.
fumble, and he has had his head down since the time that ball hit the ground, and you cannot allow one negative play to impact you the rest of the game. He's got to flush that from his memory and get ready for the next series. This happens in the course of the game. You know, he wasn't real sloppy with his ball security. Mathias Kiwanuka gets a hand in there, knocks it free. You know, that's part of the game. They're trying to take the ball away.
Especially when you run between the tackles. Everybody's punching at that ball. All those defensive linemen, linebackers coming in free.
He has been in deep thought.
Yeah.
I mean, since that fumble.
He's got to shake that off and move on.
Good news is Bentley
Great news.
walks along the Lions sideline. For Reggie Bush, that's his 4th fumble that he has lost this season among the 32 Lions turnovers. Great first half for Kiwanuka. 5 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Josh Brown for the extra point. Giants take a 10-3 lead over the Lions. Manning to Jernigan, his first NFL touchdown. Friday, January 10th. Get ready for the new Fox comedy Enlisted. While the troops are away on their missions, these guys take care of things at home. Enlisted premieres Friday, January 10th on Fox.
I know you water ski, Darryl. You ever water ski behind a tank like that?
Never.
That's something we got to do. We got to find someone that has a tank. Go do that.
Do you slalom?
Looks like a lot of fun.
I have dipped into the wakeboarding now. I've never been I have to drop if I slalom, which people get mad at because then we got to circle back and find the ski.
Wakeboarding's tough, man. It's almost like snowboarding down a hill.
Now,
I'm
snowboarding I can't
I'm a
do.
kneeboarder and a tuber.
A tuber.
Many of our viewers would pay to see that, Goose.
I'm sure they would, Kenny.
Lions will start at their 20, trailing the Giants 10-3. In need of a victory here today to stay alive. Matthew Stafford, 8 of 14. 2 of the 8 completions have gone to Calvin Johnson. Giants will get the ball first in the second half. They lead by 7. 3 wide receivers set for the Lions on first down. Stafford to the outside. It's Burleson. Forced out of bounds by Roll. Nate Burleson, who missed 7 games earlier this season, suffered the broken arm driving home with a pizza, which started to slide off the passenger seat. He reached for it, but he's had a good sense of humor about it.
I tell you what, I enjoyed sitting down and talking to him. He is very, very intelligent on the game of football, has a great pulse of this team right now, and had some really interesting things to share with us.
On 2nd and 4, it is Durham for the Lions first down. Gain of 8. We hit the 2-minute warning here in Detroit. Giants over the Lions by 7.
You haven't played the game long enough if you hadn't had to work through some adversity with a mistake. And Reggie Bush, we've been watching him after that fumble. You can see it has been a huge issue for the Lions the last 5 games. And obviously it's going to be something that the coaches talk about during preparation. But you've got to put that behind you as quickly as possible and move on.
Giants turn the Bush fumble into 7. 1st and 10 for the Lions from their 34 as Stafford swings it out to Bell. He's pushed out of bounds by Beeson at the 41-yard line, a gain of 7.
You talked about Nate Burleson before, Darryl, and one thing that really stuck out when we were talking to him yesterday were good teams put teams away and finish games. And that's something that we haven't been able to do. It really sums up their season so far this year.
Well, there's critical points in a game, and sometimes it's not an individual play. We can look at it as this series right here, 2-minute situation. You shouldn't be down 7 right now to an injury-depleted Giant team. And here they are, in this scenario again. So, I agree with everything that Nate talked to us about, and I really felt that he had hit the nail on the head with that whole theory of we're not making the plays, we're not separating when we have an opportunity, and because the NFL is such a close fit from week to week, they're losing those games.
Yep. 5 of the Lions' 7 losses, including the last 4. They held a lead in the 4th quarter. On 3rd down and 1, it's Prince Amukamara who makes the play. Pass intended for Calvin Johnson. Boos raining down on the home team here at Ford Field as the Lions will punt it away.
That's 3 opportunities for the Lions so far in interceptions.
Yeah, the Giants should have 3 interceptions right now. Tremaine McBride should have 2 Prince Amukamara does everything right there. And hey, I'm going to give some credit to Calvin Johnson for not allowing the interception. That's something you have to do as a receiver when the defender makes the great jump on the ball.
Sam Martin waiting back at his 28-yard line. There are penalty markers. Ruben Randall back at the 5. Randall out to the 17-yard line, 12 on the return, but we will check in with referee Jerome Boger as the Lions offense heads back onto the field. Looked like the Giants jumped.
Outside, receiving team. The nose tackle beat the snap. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Staring right down the line of scrimmage. A little rise by the center right there is enough to get movement. Is that Hakeem Nixon there? No, Demontre Moore, yeah, who's blocked some punts. So you saw that long snapper rise up a little bit. He saw that movement, and he was gone.
You know what? You can take a jump and try to read the center of the long snapper on that play if it's more than 5 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's inside 5 yards, you just can't make that kind of mistake because exactly right here is what happens. The offense gets the ball back.
You have to know the situation, the down and distance. And now Stafford complete to Johnson for Lions first down. So a huge penalty committed by Demontre Moore, the rookie out of Texas A&M. And then Stafford hits Calvin Johnson for a gain of 16.
That's the next step, you know, as you're starting to mature as a player. Demontre Moore, as a young player, he'll learn that, Tony, but you're exactly right. That was a critical mistake.
Gave the Lions new life with just over a minute remaining in this first half. Stafford to Joy Bell. Bell inside the 30, the 25. And he is finally forced out of bounds at the Giants' 11-yard line, but there is a flag.
Yeah, it's holding on Rob Sims.
Sims, the Lions' left guard.
Holding. Offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
There it is on John Beeson. So it negates a 25-yard pickup by Joy Bell.
I don't know if John Beeson, if he didn't go down onto the ground, if they would have called that. But he did a nice job of going and really selling it. He was getting held.
There's Demontre Moore, who committed the Giants penalty on the punt moments ago, and now Rob Sims on the other side called for the hold, forces the Lions back to the 43. First down and 17. Lions with 2 timeouts remaining. Stafford with time. He fires downfield. Looking for Kevin Ogletree with Tremaine McBride on the coverage.
Tremaine McBride is pulled up. He's jogging off to the sideline right here. Looks like he may have pulled a hamstring at the end of this. Kevin Ogletree runs right by him right there. A little incidental contact right there. Their feet get tied up, but both of them are looking back for the ball. So good no call by the official.
Jaron Hosley in for McBride. Matched up top of the screen with Calvin Johnson, who was not in for the last play. As Stafford throws, and it's picked off. Justin Tuck
That is
with
tremendous.
the interception.
They got to check him for Stickum. I'll tell you what, man, that ball hit him and just stuck right to him. Great job by Justin Tuck. Heads up, keeping his eye on the ball and bringing it right in. Take a look. Here he is right here. He goes, he gets doubled. He's reading Stafford's eyes. He goes, gets his hands up, brings it down. That's an interception for a defensive lineman.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I mean, how did that ball not just ricochet off him?
I don't know, man. Quick hands. You know, those defensive linemen, very athletic guys.
It is the second
Especially
career
the
pick
inside guys.
for Tuck. His first in St. Louis back in 2008. There's Demontre Moore, who committed the penalty, but the Giants get the ball back. Manning on first down to Hakeem Nicks. And Nicks in Lions territory. Stayed in bounds, so the clock continues to run. Knicks gain 17, and the Giants use their second timeout as we take a look at what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up, Week 16, Visa Halftime Show. Broncos try to clinch the West. Green Bay says go Pats go. Cowboy Skins go for wins. Brady versus Flacco. Bradshaw, Long, Jimmy, Michael, Kirk on the Visa Halftime Show.
What do you think?
I'm getting in the holiday spirit. Christmas is only 3 days away, Kenny.
That's one thing I missed, Al. Remember when we were kids? I used to go around caroling, make a couple extra dollars. I don't think I've ever had a caroler come to my house.
Did you have the whole garb on, the whole outfit and everything?
Oh, no, not the outfit. They didn't come in 3X, but I used to go around, shake a can a little bit.
How much did you make?
Made pretty good money, man. 20, 30 bucks back in the day.
Still have that first dollar?
No, I spent it.
All right, 33 seconds remaining. Second quarter, Giants with one timeout remaining, looking to capitalize on the second Lions turnover. Down goes Manning, and Ziggy Ansah, the first-round pick out of Brigham Young. It's his 8th sack. He leads all NFL rookies. And the Giants use their final timeout with 27 seconds on the clock.
And that's why it was so critical for Hakeem Nicks to get out of bounds on the previous play so they could have kept that timeout. Now they don't have any. The middle of the field kind of closes down for them, but I think that this is going to be an issue for the Giants going into the second half. They've played very, very well here with the game plan they put together with their offensive line against this defensive front. They're going to look across the board. Chris Houston, Rasheed Mathis out pregame. Bill Bentley went out in this half. They are really, really down in the cornerback spot. Do not change your plan and become aggressive down the field. On that play there, they had 3 deep routes. They've been so successful here in the first half, getting the ball out quickly.
Chris Greenwood in for Bentley. He's matched up with Nicks, top of your screen. Randall, bottom of your screen, matched up with Jonte Green. Jernigan shifting, second down and 19. Giants are out of timeouts. Pass is caught by Jernigan. And now the Giants must hustle downfield.
Late flag.
He tried to hold him on the ground. We'll see if it's a delay of game call.
Delay of game. Defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty at the end of the play. It'll be third down.
Don
Please
Carey.
reset the game clock to 18 seconds.
Don
18
Carey did not
seconds on the
let
game clock.
Terrell Jernigan get back up.
One of the criticisms of Jim Schwartz's team are the silly penalties, and that's one right there. Don Carey's got to know that situation. The Giants have no timeouts. They're going to be scrambling up here to kill this clock. They've got to be smarter with their penalties.
18 seconds remaining. Third down and 3. Giants out of timeouts. Lead by 7. 3 wide receivers set. As Manning throws, that pass intended for the tight end Brandon Myers. So now the Giants will send out the field goal unit. Look to add on 3.
I think they're lucky that that was an incomplete pass, because at 18 seconds at the start of that snap, I don't know if there's enough time with a catch and to get your field goal team out onto the field in time for the attempt.
It'll be a 52-yard attempt. Brown's longest attempt of the season. His season long is 46, career long is 58. From the left hash, Rutherford places it down. Josh Brown from 52, it is good. So the Giants capitalize once again following a Detroit Lions turnover. Giants have scored 10 points off turnovers and now lead the Lions by 10. So Detroit held to just 3 points with 9 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Lions need a win today. The Chicago Bears with a record of 8-6, 2-3 in the division in Philadelphia tonight. A game that has no bearing on the Eagles situation. The Green Bay Packers at 7-6-1 will travel to Chicago next Sunday. Lions 7-7 will visit the Vikings on the final day of the regular season. Packers and Steelers remain tied at 7 in Green Bay. There's Justin Tuck with his second career interception, setting up the 52-yard field goal by Josh Brown.
7-7, but 4-1 in the division. Their one loss at Green Bay without Calvin Johnson in the lineup that day. And that's just kind of the story of these Detroit Lions over the last 5 weeks. Just a tremendous missed opportunity for a talented team.
Lions split with the Packers. Beat Minnesota. They'll take on the Vikings next week. Giants keep it on the ground. This is Ross on the return. And Ross is forced out with 4 seconds remaining. This is your game. This is your show. Join the guys on Fox Football Daily every weeknight for the best insights, analysis, and interviews in football. Catch Fox Football Daily weeknights at 6 Eastern only on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Only 3 points in the first half for the Lions. Visa halftime report is coming up as the boos continue to rain down from the crowd here at Ford Field in Detroit. Lions turn the ball over twice, leading to 10 points for the New York Giants, who have already been eliminated from playoff contention, looking to win for the 6th time this season. Jim Schwartz needs a victory to stay alive in the NFC North race. So it's the Giants over the Lions at the half by the score of 13-3. The Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy is coming up after these messages.
Hey, we established the dominance in our house that we should have had all year.
In trouble. Down he goes. What a series for Kiwanuka. Reggie Bush. Ball came loose. And he throws. End zone. Jernigan. Touchdown. We get set for the start of the second half here in Detroit with the Giants leading the Lions 13-3. A look at the first half numbers.
Again, it's the turnover ratio. It's giveaways by Detroit, but no takeaways from their defense to support that. Now, the beginning of the season, there was some turnovers by the Lions offense, but the defense was taking the ball back. So they're kind of able to stay, in the positive area. But over the last 5 weeks, it's gotten completely out of sync.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Jim Schwartz and the Lions need a victory today to stay alive. There's Michael Cox back deep for the Giants. Giants will start from their 20-yard line, leading by 10. Darryl, you've been waiting for this moment since last December.
I love
Absolutely. That was an ugly first half by the Detroit Lions. They're getting beat by an offense that their own coach called pathetic last week. So in honor of that ugly performance by the Detroit Lions, I've broken out my annual ugly Christmas sweater.
Were the batteries included?
With the batteries were included. They didn't have to. I did have to add Merry Christmas over here on the side. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Very nice. So an ugly first half, ugly sweater contest here in the broadcast booth and down on the field. We can't wait to see you, Goose. Manning on first down. Pass is caught by Andre Brown, but Chris Greenwood is right there to make the tackle. He's in for the injured Bill Bentley. What do you got, Goose?
All right, Moose, here we go, brother. It was an ugly first half. You got the... Like that, huh? It's hard finding the 3X in that size also. We really talked to Coach Coughlin. He's very happy with his team, the way they played in the first half. Coach, got to keep fighting. We have to finish. This team is very capable of going and putting points up, so we got to go and finish this game in the second half. Got Coach Schwartz. Calvin is not, like we thought, 100%. He's a little banged up. They're concerned. He's out there. He's doing everything he can. But like we thought, he's not 100%. And they got to really go and stop the turnovers. That's what he feels. That's really hurting his team. And he feels okay if they don't get any more turnovers in the second half.
I think Goose's batteries helped him out during that report, not only lighting up his sweater,
but recharged him a little bit. I think he's plugged into it.
I'm ready, man. You got the whole setup. I got the whole deal down here is all. Look at this thing. beautiful.
I love the elf on the shelf up there.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
He's
I didn't even see him.
Nice job pointed to the elf by Nick Saccone. I want to know where Nick's sweater is. 3rd down and 4. Giants must get to the 30 for a first down as Manning is it out, and it's off the hand of Rueben Randle. Had a couple of chances, but could not gather it in.
And again, I think that this is going to be the big challenge. And if they're going to do this, they've got to find a way to execute Chris Greenwood stride for stride right there. An opportunity for Rueben Randle, but with the injuries at the cornerback position for the Detroit Lions, don't lose sight of how effective you were in the first half with the game plan you came into this game with. The short passes, moving the pocket, screens.
Lions without their top 3 corners. Houston, Mathis, deactivated prior to the game, and now Bill Bentley. But the Giants go 3 and out to start this second half. Weatherford punting for only the second time. This is Ross. Ross turns the corner. He is across midfield. Finally pulled down by Will Hill after a return of 50 yards.
I tell you what, this is one of the really feel-good stories, in my opinion, in the NFL this season. Jeremy Ross, a critical fumble in the championship game, the playoff game with the 49ers a couple of years ago. This year, earlier on, he was with Cincinnati, or with Green Bay, had a fumble in the Cincinnati game. He hangs in there, he perseveres, he comes to Detroit, and he has been a key for this team in the return game since he's arrived.
He scored 2 touchdowns on returns, one on a kickoff return, one on a punt return in the snow in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. And he said growing up in San Diego and playing in the sand actually helped him out in the snow. Empty backfield for the Lions as the catch is made for a gain of 8 by the tight end, Doran Dickerson. So Dickerson takes it to the 22. Prince Amukamara shaken up earlier, returning to the field for the Giants.
Well, let's see if this Lions offense can take advantage of the great field position created by their special teams.
Being down here on the field is the first time I felt any kind of momentum with this offense, so we'll see if they can go and capitalize.
Given the short field thanks to the return by Ross. Here's Bush. Bush down to the 19-yard line on his first touch since the fumble back in the first half.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. He's got to put that behind him, you know, change his demeanor. He was very, very upset, impacted by that. He's too critical right now. With Calvin Johnson not at 100%, Reggie Bush becomes more important for this offense.
Bush picked up a first down. Lions are in the red zone for the first time today. 3 wide receivers set from the Giants. 19 off the fake to Bush to the end zone. Pass is intended for Chris Durham. No flags.
Chris Durham cannot get a call. That is unbelievable. We saw the one last week. Watch him, he's on the outside. It sure looks like there's a big tug here as he goes to the inside. Overthrown. Maybe they're going to say it's uncatchable, but he's like, what do I got to do to get a call?
Tremaine McBride grabbing hold of Chris Durham, now 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, Bush to the 16-yard line. Beeson and Ryan Mundy combined to make the tackle. 3rd down and 7 upcoming for the Lions, who trail by 10. Three wide receivers, but no Calvin Johnson. Burleson in the slot. Durham split wide to the left. Ogletree to the right. Johnson on the sidelines. Stafford with time finds Joyce Bell, who picks up a first down and is tackled at the 2.
That's a nice decision by Matthew Stafford because he's looking down the field vertically. He's got 2 routes that are going to carry into the end zone, but they're covered well. Don't force the ball. Check it down. Give your running back an opportunity. And Joique Bell just does a nice job finishing this run.
Gain of 14 for Bell. Calvin Johnson checks in. 1st and goal from the 2. Abu Kamara matched up with Johnson, top of your screen. Bell in the backfield. 3 wide receivers set. On 1st and goal, this is Bell. Not much.
You may have lost some, Kenny.
Play was blown dead. So it will be 2nd and goal from the Giants, 2.
One of the guys the Giants have to be aware of down here in formation is Joseph Foria, the tight end. You mentioned how many touchdown catches he has as a total this year.
7 touchdowns for Fourier on 14 receptions. Corey Hilliard, 78. In as an extra blocker. This is Bell. And Bell is stopped just short by Antrel Roll, so it will be 3rd and goal for the Lions.
The good job by Antrel Roll coming up and making that stop. The inability for Joique Bell to extend this ball to break the plane. 26 coming in with the hit, gets him down low. Looks like it even came out a little bit. He regained possession.
Lions leave the same personnel on the field. Johnson split wide to the right. Bell in the backfield.
Got a double on Calvin Johnson at the top, so look for him to go down to Joseph Foria to the left. There's your single down here at the bottom.
Hand it off to Bell, and he is in for the Lions touchdown.
See the heavy alignment to the left side. Good job, good patience there coming to the inside. It's a good surge by that left side of the offensive line of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and putting Calvin Johnson, having him doubled on the outside, only got 6 in the box. So give a little bit of an advantage for Bell to go and get in that end zone.
Akers the extra point, 8th touchdown of the season for the former security guard here at Ford Field. Joique Bell, Lions within 3. Back in Detroit. Lions have pulled to within 3. A 50-yard punt return by Jeremy Ross leading to the Joique Bell touchdown. Giants will start from the 20, leading by 3. Early 3rd quarter here in Detroit. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, a hometown hero honored by the Detroit Lions.
The true heroes in our country, our military, our men and women of the U.S. military. Unbelievable, especially the holiday season, the sacrifices with the time away from their family, and then the physical sacrifices you see that Travis has endured.
Yeah, I talked to Travis in the tunnel during halftime. I'll tell you what, for a guy who's lost both legs and both arms, he's really got some up spirit, and he's really happy to be here and loves the NFL. So a great guy, great guy.
Great to see all of the players on the field during the TV timeout acknowledging Travis as well. Man incomplete on 1st down to Bear Pasco. Gain of 7 out to the 27-yard line.
And I like that because that reminds me of the style of play from the first half. And I understand that there's some matchups on the outside right now, but you also have to contend with that front. It's just a matter of time before Ndamukong Suh, Willie Young, Ziggy Ansah, Nick Fairley, these guys should be able to start taking over this game.
Ansah with a sack in the first half, but it's been a quiet afternoon for Suh and Fairley.
The entire D-line group.
Giants still have Dallas Reynolds in at right guard for the injured Brandon Mosley, who made his first NFL start. And the Giants, who went 3 and out, there's Fairley. Giants went 3 and out of their opening possession in this second half, now facing a 3rd down and 4.
But at 3rd and 4, the playbook is open. The one thing that they have to guard against here in the second half against the Lions is getting into those 3rd and long situations. This is manageable for this team.
Lions best in the league, 3rd down defense. Giants must get to the 30. Manning to the outside, but Jernigan cut the other way.
We've seen this quite a bit this season, with the New York Giants, and he's coming out of the slot. Jarrell Jernigan. Eli Manning is expecting him to continue up the field, and he shuts it down.
Those guys up front, you see right there, Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley. Ndamukong Suh's making calls. They're doing a lot of stunts up front to try and go and catch this offensive line a little bit off guard, and they're getting some pressure with the stuff that they're doing now.
2 straight 3 and outs for the Giants. Weatherford punting from his 16-yard line, angles it to the sideline, keeps it away from Ross this time. He had the 50-yard return earlier in the 3rd quarter. Lions with the football, trailing by 3. Midway through the 3rd quarter here in Detroit. 3-point lead for the Giants. Matthew Stafford and the Lions start from their own 24. Chris Durham in motion. Joique Bell. There is a flag.
You hear a lot of people talk about gap control and run defense, and here's a great example by the New York Giants, and you'll watch Joique Bell.
Holding offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
On his run, he's going to just keep moving down the line of scrimmage, but every gap is filled by a defender, and there's the hold by Chris Durham on the outside where Tremaine McBride had contained.
Fourth Lions penalty. Sets them back 10 yards, now 1st down and 20. Big hole for Bell. Bell out to the 26. Begins 12. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL to download it now.
Right now, it looks like Joique Bell is going to get the bulk of the work here in the second half. He's a downhill runner. That's very impressive right there. A 1st down and 20, and you're able to get it to a 2nd and 8 on the 12-yard gain in the run game.
Lions send out Jeremy Ross. He's in the slot. Calvin Johnson split wide to the right. Hand off to Bell. Bell out to the 29. 3rd and 5 coming up, but first a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, Lions fans will like this. Pittsburgh at Green Bay. The Steelers had gone for it on a fake punt on 4th down to convert, and then Roethlisberger makes a payoff 13-yard score, and the Steelers lead the Packers 17-14 in the 3rd. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Well, that is certainly good news, Kurt, for the Detroit Lions, with the Green Bay Packers trailing Pittsburgh at home by 3. Again, the Lions need to win their remaining 2 games, and they need Green Bay and Chicago to each lose once. Packers and Bears play each other next week in Chicago. Stafford to the outside. It's Durham who extends with Tremaine McBride all over him. Durham extends for a Lions 1st down.
Working back to make the catch and then spinning around, rotating, and having the presence, knowing where you are on the field, those down and distance markers.
Second catch of the game for Durham. Stafford has spread the ball around to 8 different receivers. We approach 5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. The toss to Bell, and then he gets it into the hands of Jeremy Ross. Ross picks up a 1st down. He's across midfield, and it's Abu Kamara who finally forces him out of bounds. 16 yards for Jeremy Ross.
But really, Will Hill does a nice job here, because there are 3 Lions out in front of Jeremy Ross on this run. And Will Hill, keep your eye on 25 if he can stay in screen. Watch how he fends everything off and really is kind of the only guy out there. Look at all the Lions coming, and he's able to kind of sift his way through that and prevent that from being a much larger gain.
That was Matt Stafford on that missed block.
Saying there was only 2 guys out in front of him?
Yeah, 2.5.
Now on first down, it's Bell. And he runs right into the arms of Jaquan Williams.
That's a nice play there. We've talked about how these running backs on both teams are physical at finishing their runs. And Jaquan Williams allows no yards after contact for Joey Bell.
Bell to the sidelines, replaced by Bush. Calvin Johnson now in the slot. Only 3 receptions today for Johnson, who was bothered by knee issues all week long. Stafford on 2nd and 12. To the outside, it's Bush. And again, Will Hill coming up to make the tackle, a gain of 2. So it will be 3rd down and 10.
Nice open field tackle by Will Hill, Darryl. I don't know if that's what you were going to talk about, but tell you what, this is not an easy tackle right here, especially on a guy like Reggie Bush that has all the moves. He goes and wraps him up, doesn't go high, goes down on his legs, takes his legs away from him, and solidifies the tackle.
Another nice play by Hill. Reportedly arrested Friday night on a warrant related to child support. Team released a statement yesterday saying it was a private, personal matter that Will is dealing with. He's in the starting lineup here today and made a couple of nice plays on this drive. And now a timeout is taken by the Giants.
Yep.
Just over 3 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Giants leading by 3. Back in Detroit following the Giants timeout. Will Hill, 8 tackles today to lead the Giants. 3rd down and 10. For the Lions, they must get to the Giants 39. Stafford on 3rd down. Pass is caught by Burleson, but it's Beeson who comes up to make this tackle, stopping Burleson 4 yards shy of a first.
I tell you, we've had an opportunity to do the Lions a couple times this season. One of the games, Calvin Johnson was out against Green Bay at Green Bay, and you think that there's enough talent here for them to maybe make up for that, be competitive in that game. That doesn't happen. He's not 100% today. You talk about somebody that impacts the team, you think about franchise quarterbacks, but Calvin Johnson, if he is not healthy and a viable option, this offense is just not the same for the Detroit Lions.
Just think of some of the games he's had a huge impact. Over 300 yards receiving against the Cowboys. Alvin Check today with only 3 receptions, and the Lions trail by 3. Seattle Seahawks, best record in the NFL at 12-2. Seahawks will clinch home field advantage with a win today over Arizona or a San Francisco loss to Atlanta tomorrow. Seahawks and Cardinals tied at 3. Late 3rd quarter in Seattle. And Ndamukong Suh coming through to make the tackle as he brings down Andre Brown. Seattle went into New Jersey last week, shut out the Giants 23-0, and if they do in fact gain home field, they would not have to get on a plane again until a potential trip to the Super Bowl at the Giants' home stadium.
Well, I think that's the most important thing for Seattle. Is it a very difficult place to play? You saw Russell Wilson has not lost at home, but right now everybody will take a look at what Arizona did at 3-3, at what Tampa Bay did when they stretched them earlier this season.
On 2nd and 10, the toss to Brown. And he is in for a loss. DeAndre Levy coming through to make the tackle.
And this is what I expected to see from the start of this game. You know, there is some emotion with this defensive group right now. And they sense it, but you can't wait this long to get into the game. There's a minute and a half left in the 3rd quarter. Now, they've got to be able to come out and start the game with this type of emotion, this type of energy.
Giants have gone 3 and out on both possessions here in the 3rd quarter. Facing a 3rd down and 12. They must get to the 22-yard line. Manning in trouble. He is sacked in the end zone. It is Nick Fairley. A a safety. Lions pull to it in 1.
We talked about it, what this defensive line does. Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh go and run what we call an ET. The end is going to come inside. Both tackles are going to loop to the outside. Right there. That's how they bring the pressure on Eli Manning. See how Fairley comes free right on the outside in the end zone. There you go. There's a safety right there.
An opportunity for Brandon Myers on his release to help out his tackle on that loop, because you got the defensive end inside holding you, so you can't get back out to pick up Nick Fairley. But Brandon Myers was releasing. He could have given a chip on his release.
Now all scoring plays are reviewed. Watch the ball. And it looks like the ball is completely in the end zone when Manning was sacked by Fairley. If any part of the ball crossed the plane, there would not be a safety.
Well, it's got to come all the way out. When it's
right.
going in, it just has to break the plane. But if it's a safety and you're coming out, that entire ball has to get back outside.
Tell you what, you get a lot of pressure by those inside guys, but both ends do a really nice job of coming down and leaving the path open for Fairley. Watch it right here. There he's wrapped up. You see the ball right there over the line. I think they stay with this.
But that's what you expected to see on a more consistent basis, Tony, throughout this game. And we talked about the Giants coming in and doing some different things. There may have been some good halftime adjustments by the Detroit Lions. They kind of figured out the approach of what the New York Giants were doing, but the success that we saw them have in the first half was moving Eli Manning off the spot. You don't want him to be 6 yards back behind the center to allow those guys a launch point.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's a safety.
So the ruling on the field stands. Second safety for the Lions the last 4 games as we bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, do you agree?
Yeah, Moose was all over this too. It's interesting because if any part of this ball breaks the plane going backwards here, then you've got to get the whole ball out to avoid a safety. And I think the shot showed that, Boger made the right call here, but he would have had to have gotten that whole ball out after the tip even first broke the plane. Planes are kind of funny. It's just a plane going in. You just have to break the plane. But then coming out, you've got to get that whole ball out, which he didn't.
So it is a safety. Thanks, Mike. And the Lions have pulled to within 1 with just over a minute remaining in the third quarter here in Detroit. Free kick will be taken on the run and then dropped. Bell scoops it up, and it's Demontre Moore who makes the tackle after a return of 7. We take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. Broncos with a first-round bye. Patriots have clinched the division. Bengals are in. Colts are in. 1 spot remaining.
I tell you what, though, a lot of people have talked about the Indianapolis Colts as maybe a team that gets in there and is not playing well because of the injury to Reggie Wayne. Well, guess what? They have knocked off San Francisco in San Francisco. They beat Seattle. They've beaten Denver. I mean, this is a team that's taken down the top teams in both conferences. Kansas City.
Joey Bell continues to run hard out to the 47-yard line. So after the fumble by Reggie Bush earlier, which led to Giants points, it has been predominantly Joey Bell. That is the rookie right tackle, Adrian Waddle, who is down.
And he's actually brought a lot of stability to that right tackle position through the first half of the season. Some different players with the opportunity to go there. Jason Fox, Corey Hilliard, Adrian Waddle is really solidified. Now they've got that starting 5. And you can see him driving. We'll see if that pile rolls up on him at any point.
Looks like maybe his ankle got caught underneath.
But when we go back and we talk about a team like the Colts, you know, we're thinking about a team coming from the back of the pack, getting into the playoffs, like the Giants have done in the past, like the Green Bay Packers have done, what we saw the Ravens do last season. And again, Jim Schwartz's team, they are talented. They are as talented as most teams in the NFL. You talk about arguably the first player that can really start to get into the conversation with Jerry Rice as the greatest receiver of all time. You've got a great 1-2 combination in the backfield with Joique Bell and Reggie Bush. You've got Matthew Stafford, who's at the controls. Nate Burleson's a great complimentary. Chris Durham, Kevin Ogletree, they've got their offensive line figured out. And Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley on the defensive side of the ball. They have got tremendous athletes on this team, and the production is just not there. So if these guys can get it figured out, if they can play well in these last 2 games and build some momentum and get into the playoffs with help from Green Bay and Chicago, they could be one of those teams that takes somebody out that you didn't expect.
Lions average over 400 yards per game. Only the Broncos and Eagles average more. But as we've talked about throughout the day, as Waddle is helped off and he'll be replaced by Jason Fox, it has been the fourth quarters, the finish. Lions have had a lead in the fourth quarter in 5 of their 7 defeats.
And if you're going to be that type of team, you can't be 13-12 right now with the Giants.
Jason Fox, 70 in for Adrian Waddle. Final minute, third quarter. From the 47-yard line. Stafford's pass could not be handled by Reggie Bush.
That's a catchable ball right there by Reggie Bush. Stafford does a nice job of dropping back. You see Reggie out there in the slot, comes across. I just think that interception early messed with him so much that he's really, you know, I don't know if he's talked himself out of the game or he's just not with us right now.
You mean the fumble, right? The fumble by Bush?
The fumble earlier, right.
More drops than any team in the NFL, Tony. And that's just concentration right there. And that's Reggie Bush in the middle of the field one-on-one, and he's got his guy beat.
Off the fake to Bell. Pass is caught by Ogletree. A stiff arm to McBride. So Kevin Ogletree picks up a Lions first down at the Giants 37, gain of 16.
Kevin Ogletree working at the top against Tremaine McBride. You would talk about getting off that stem, pushing him, getting that cornerback to turn his hips and run. Good job selling the deep route and snapping out of that.
Ogletree with that 2-touchdown game against the Giants in the opener last season. We head to the fourth. Giants by 1. We head to the fourth quarter here in Detroit. Giants lead the Lions 13-12. Lions need a win to stay alive in the NFC North race. They outgained the Giants in the third quarter, 99 yards to 1. As Joique Bell takes it down to the Giants' 30-yard line.
This is where I want to see Matthew Stafford start to take control of this game, make good decisions, give opportunities to the guys around him to make the plays necessary. I mean, you see what happens to him in the month of December. Look at 2011, that great year that these guys had. But, you know, other than that, it's been a tough go, and especially here in the fourth quarter has been very difficult for Matthew. This would be huge for him to have a great opportunity here to get his team the lead and get a victory.
Joique Bell picks up a first down for the Lions, who have lost their last 8 regular season games in December and January. That's the longest active streak in the NFL, but Bell picks up 11. Now has 69 yards on the ground.
And this is a good performance by Joique Bell, because we've talked about this Giants defense against the elite running backs in the NFL. LaShawn McCoy twice, Adrian Peterson, those are 1-2 in the NFL in rushing. Played very well against them. Matt Forte got most of his yards in receiving.
New set of downs for the Lions from the 19-yard line. Inside handoff to Bush. And John Beeson wraps him up. Reggie Bush takes it down to the Giants 14, setting up second down and 6. Reggie Bush heading off to the sidelines.
Talk about runners finishing the run. Here's a tackler finishing the tackle. John Beeson.
He makes you earn every yard you get.
Calvin Johnson split wide to the right. Only 3 catches today. Inside handoff to Bell. Justin Tuck, first Giant to make contact. A gain of 3. Down to the 11-yard line. 3rd down and 3 upcoming for the Lions, who trail by 1. Lloyd Bell replaced by Theo Riddick, the New Jersey native, rookie out of Notre Dame. His first play on offense today. And Riddick is split wide to the right. Johnson in the slot to the right. Luke Kamara once again matched up with Johnson. 3rd down and 3. Stafford throws, and a diving catch is made at the 2-yard line by Fourier. He was ruled down. Joseph Fourier picks up the Lions' first down at the Giants' 2.
Coming from a traditional tight end position, working against Jaquan Williams. Initiates the contact, gets the separation to the outside.
First and goal. This is Riddick, and he is in for a touchdown. Theo Riddick with his first NFL touchdown, and now the Lions will go for 2.
There's a play designed to go to the left. Good field, not committed too far up inside. Ryan Mundy's got to come down, get that helmet in front of the running back. Put your helmet in front so it makes it more difficult for him to break through.
Somerville, New Jersey native, won a state championship as a sophomore in 2006. 6th round draft pick, first NFL score. And now the Lions look to make it a 7-point game. Stafford to the end zone. It is Fourier. So the Lions have come from behind. They now lead the Giants by 7. Lions now lead by 7. There's Theo Riddick, his first NFL touchdown, a 9-play, 63-yard drive following the safety. So the Lions score 10 points in 4 minutes, 11 seconds. Giants will start from their 20-yard line. They have been outscored 17-0 by the Lions here in the second half, so things not as ugly for Detroit since halftime.
Well, this is actually the quarter where things have been ugly for the Detroit Lions. We're going to have to wait and see how they play out this 4th quarter. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 with leads in the 4th quarter. In all those losses, they've got the lead again. I like the complementary football that we just saw. Jeremy Ross with the big punt return, the defense with the safety, the offense with points. This team is finally starting to hit their stride here this afternoon.
Giants have run only 9 plays in the second half. Manning's pass is caught by Louis Murphy Jr. Wrestled down by Chris Greenwood. So the Giants, since halftime, a couple of 3-and-outs, and then the safety on the 3rd play of their last possession.
Well, Darryl, you talked about Detroit and them being able to finish and want to be known as a good team, a team that could possibly do something in the playoffs if they do get in. Well, this is where they got to show everybody. The defense, that's what's been leading them all year. They talk about the guys inside. They got to go and they got to finish right here, get the ball back, and then an offense has got to come back and bring the hammer with them.
2nd down and 5. Ball is loose on the attempted handoff from Manning to Andre Brown. It was Nick Fairley with the pressure up the middle.
And one of the things that Jim Schwartz talked to us about was in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, we don't have these plays being made by our defense. Here's Nick Fairley with a ton of penetration, actually impacting the handoff, almost the opportunity for a fumble recovery. Those are the types of plays that Jim Schwartz has not seen from his defense during this losing streak.
Now some confusion in the Giants huddle, and there are penalty markers. They had a 12th man in the huddle.
Illegal substitution, 12 in the huddle, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Brandon Myers attempted to get off the field.
Jim Schwartz alerting the officials that they've got 12 in the huddle.
What a turnaround in the second half. Giants led 13-3 at halftime as the Lions turned the ball over twice. But the Lions with 17 unanswered points. Giants must get to the 30. On the slant, it's Jernigan, but he is tackled at the 20 by the combination of Carey and Greenwood. So the Giants, for the fourth time in the second half, go 3 plays and out.
Just self-destructed here with their own mistakes, but this is what this front forces you to do. You're going to have to throw it quick. You got a screen right there. All those other receivers, Ruben Randall, Andre Brown, Brandon Myers, they're all trying to get blocks for Jarrell Jernigan coming across from the outside.
So the Giants, no first downs here in the second half. They've been outscored 17-0. Weatherford punting from his own 10-yard line. Good hang time, and a fair catch is called for at the 30 by Ross. Greenwood has done a nice job filling in for the injured Bill Bentley. Calvin Johnson limited to just 3 receptions today.
It's just such an impact on this offense. Maybe more than, I think there's not a player outside of the quarterback spot, and maybe even more than some quarterbacks. When you don't have Calvin Johnson, this offense just isn't the same.
Gain of 3 for Bell. Time for a game break. Joel Klatt. Joel.
Kenny, let's go to Green Bay. Controversy, the Packers and Steelers. Mason Crosby field goal attempt blocked, but Pittsburgh would be called for illegal touching. They gave Green Bay a 1st and goal. First down, Eddie Lacy in from 2 yards out, and the Packers up 21-17. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. So again, the Lions need 2 wins and 1 loss by Green Bay, 1 loss by Chicago. Stafford sets up the screen. This is Bell. Bell out to the 39-yard line. So it will be 3rd down and 1 for the Lions.
Justin Tuck has been fighting through an injury here in the second half. We saw him earlier this half go out with a left shoulder issue.
He's fighting through it, though.
Yeah.
Man. He's tough as nails.
Now he looks like his knee down below.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's going to be a decision. A lot of Giants fans are going to be waiting to see what do they do with Justin Tuck for next year. I think he's a warrior out there. I think he does a tremendous job.
And a great leader, too, for this team.
Absolutely.
Great second effort by Bell. There is a flag. Bell picks up a first, tackle by Amukamara at the 47, but a flag was thrown.
Holding, offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
That's the second key penalty committed today by the left guard, Rob Sims.
We think about Joique Bell as power, and yet he's going to show you right here. He's got some nifty feet trying to push that pile, and look at the spin out the back door.
I don't know. I didn't see much of a hold on that one.
So the penalty forces the Lions back to their 28-yard line. 3rd down and 11. Reggie Bush in the backfield. Calvin Johnson on the sidelines. Lions must get to the 40. Stafford fires. The pass was too high. It was deflected and then nearly picked off by Hill. Fourier, the intended receiver, so now the Lions will punt it away.
And this is one of those decisions that you get concerned with Joseph Fourier in the middle of the field, high ball, very similar to that late interception by Matthew Stafford against the Ravens on Monday night that sealed that game for Baltimore. High and into the middle of the field.
Martin waiting back at the 13-yard line. Ruben Randall takes it out to 25, breaks the first tackle attempt, and then is down at the 32. 7 yards on the return, a 47-yard punt by Randall. Midway through the fourth quarter here in Detroit, Stafford and the Lions lead by 7. Just 3 days till Christmas here in Detroit. Lions lead by 7. Giants start from their 32-yard line. Manning, the Knicks, but he did not come down in bounds. So it will be 2nd and 10.
It's a nice job right here by Jonte Green using the sideline as your friend. And Hakeem Nicks catching that out of bounds. And it's been a tough go for Eli Manning this year with his receivers on the outside. We've seen some situations here today where they haven't been in sync with their communication. He's had a lot of different offensive line combinations for him up front. No running game to lean on.
Lost his right guard today. Brown gains a couple. Giants have not turned the ball over today. They have committed a turnover in every game leading up to this one. Manning has thrown 25 interceptions, which matches the franchise high, and should he lead the league, it would be his 3rd time.
But if you look at the list, though, these are guys that played in the NFL for a long, long time, and we all heard this week that London Fletcher is 99% sure he's going to retire after this season, who is the current leader in consecutive game plays. When he retires, that goes to Eli Manning. So if you play that long, you could have seasons like Eli's had this year.
On 3rd down, Manning's pass incomplete. Manning again under pressure, so the Giants will punt it away with 6:38 remaining.
Trying to get in that pressure up the middle. Ndamukong Suh, nice little bull rush right there that takes the inside rush. Fairly also, little pressure. When you put pressure on a quarterback right in his face right there, that's when you're going to affect throws and force him to throw it against his body and not have his feet on the ground. That's when you get interceptions and bad passes like we just saw.
Giants in the second half, Goose, no first downs, only 8 yards. Penalty markers prior to the punt.
Kevin Ogletree thought the play had started. He crossed the line of scrimmage when he was working outside.
Encroachment, defense, number 11. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And he was lined up with number 19, Julian Talley, playing in his first NFL game. There's Jeremy Ross back deep. He had a big 50-yard return earlier.
Really jump-started this second half for the Detroit Lions team as a whole, because then all of a sudden the defense was playing with emotion. Then the offense is taking advantage of good field position.
They rode the momentum train on that one.
Absolutely. Great to see Jeremy Ross persevere through that situation. Come back and have some big contributions for this Detroit Lions team.
Fair catch called for by Ross at the 12. Nick Fairley and the Lions defense picking up the pace in the second half. Worst starting field position of the day for the Lions, who lead by 7. From their 12-yard line, the handoff to Reggie Bush, who gains 2. Out to the 14, there is a flag.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's on Mike Patterson. Time for a game break. Here's Kurt.
After Pittsburgh scored to take the lead, first play from scrimmage. After that, they extended. Cortez Allen picks off Matt Flynn. 40-yard interception return for a score. And now Pittsburgh up by 10 on the Packers. And there is joy in Detroit. Kenny Moose and Goose.
You're right, Kurt. That is huge news for the Lions. If the Lions hold on to win this game and the Packers lose, it would come down to the Lions winning next week in Minnesota and Chicago losing one of their final 2 games. Bell out to the 21-yard line.
Well, when you talk about a team that's been hit with the injury bug, they're going to be able to hang in there for a while. But eventually it's going to start to wear on them. And that's what we're seeing here in the second half. When you look at those stats, 0 points, only 8 total yards compared to 146, no first downs compared to 10. That's a team that is trying to put a patchwork offensive line together that held in there for a half, but has now started to really struggle here in the second half.
That's exactly what Coach Coughlin was talking about when I met with him at halftime. He goes, we got to go and finish this game because this team is very capable of going and putting points up on the board fast. He was worried about exactly what we just saw in that last graphic.
Here's Bush on 2nd and 8. Breaks away from Mundy. And then out of bounds at the 22. And for a Giants team that started the year 0-6, then won 5 of their next 6. Comments after the game by Tom Coughlin last week about his offense. And you asked him yesterday what he has in mind as far as today's game. He said, we practiced hard all week. We're here to win. We play to win.
Absolutely. And you're not, there was discussions about do you even play Eli Manning against his front and risk him getting injured. And a lot of things. Do you take a look at players for next year? No. We come in and we play to win. Now, there were guys he wanted to see during the course of the game. But when you stay consistent with the #1 objective being to win games, regardless of your situation in the month of December, it sends a great message to your team.
And Tom Coughlin told us Eli not starting and playing was never even a possibility. Giants had a 13-3 lead at halftime, but then Joyke Bell with a 1-yard touchdown run early in the 3rd quarter. Nick Fairley with a sack of Eli Manning for a safety. And then Theo Riddick, New Jersey native, scoring his first NFL touchdown, the 2-point conversion to Fourier. Lions have outscored the Giants 17-0 in the second half. So with 5:06 remaining, Lions facing a 3rd down and 7 with a 7-point lead. Lions and the fans here at Ford Field well aware that the Steelers have taken a 10-point lead on the Green Bay Packers. Stafford fires on 3rd down, deflected and picked off. Will Hill takes it all the way for a Giants touchdown.
I tell you what, there was a team that was discussed a lot this afternoon earlier in the game. Their December challenges, their success in the month of December, pushing for the playoffs, the Dallas Cowboys. This team is so similar to the Dallas Cowboys in so many ways. A tipped ball, sure, but it's just this. When it happens week after week after week, there's a pattern.
Second interception of the season, first career touchdown for Will Hill. We talked about a situation earlier, the arrest Friday night. Giants said it was a private personal matter that he is dealing with. Made the trip to Detroit. Returns the interception 38 yards. And we are tied at 20.
But he was great in the first half as well with tackles, made some good plays in the secondary, and there's by far the biggest play of the game by Will Hill. The pass is not exactly on location. Joseph Fourier tips the ball, and here it goes the other direction. And unbelievable that this team can be in a position to close out games and not be able to throw that knockout punch, not be able to put that drive together that puts this game away. That was probably the most profound thing that we got from Nate Burleson, Tony, is you asked him directly, and he says, I have no idea. It's that handful of plays. We never seem to make them, and we end up losing these close games.
Yeah, a little conservative also on that play call in there in that last drive. 2 runs to the outside.
Well, if we mentioned it once, we've mentioned it 10 times today. In 5 of the Lions' 7 losses, they have led in the 4th quarter. They had a 20-13 lead moments ago. The third Detroit turnover. How about this, Darryl? Coming into the game, the Giants, who have committed the most turnovers in the league, had scored only 43 points off opponent turnovers all season. They have 17 today. So with 4:57 remaining in a tie game, Lions will start from their 20. American Idol is looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox.
I mean, your offense is getting booed when they take the field in your home field. That's the frustration that the fan base for the Detroit Lions feels right now. Scott Linehan, and we've talked about a lot of people that are going to be on the hot seat under the microscope. I think you can add Scott Linehan to that list.
For Matthew Stafford, that is now 12 interceptions over the last 6 games. Lions with 3 turnovers today. Giants converting those miscues into 2 touchdowns and a field goal as Joy Bell gains 3 out to the 23-yard line. So the Giants at +3, only team to commit a turnover in every game. League high 39, but they've been clean to the turnover department, and they have forced 3. The Reggie Bush fumble and the interceptions by Justin Tuck and Will Hill. Second down and 7. Stafford looking to throw on second down, sidearm, and Bell makes the catch out of the 29. Gain of 6. So it will be 3rd down and 1.
When you watch them play, whether it's Tony Romo or Matthew Stafford, they remind me of Brett Favre a lot. And they're aggressive with their thought process. They'll make any type of throw. They have confidence in their arm strength. But that does lead to turnovers.
And now it is Ryan Mundy who makes the tackle, stopping Joy Bell short of a 1st down. Giants then call timeout.
Ryan Mundy all the way on the backside. You got 2 guys blocking one. Doran Dickerson, Riley Reef are blocking the same guy. Nobody turns outside to check pursuit.
So it's 4th and 1 for the Lions. Giants have used their 2nd timeout as the Lions send out the punting unit.
Again, it may seem like something simple, but you've got a tight end and a tackle in a blocking position as the boos continue to rain down on this Lions offense in a 3rd and 1 situation, and nobody checks to see pursuit coming. I mean, it's unbelievable you can put 2 guys on one in that situation.
Ruben Randall back deep for the Giants, who will get the ball back, having tied the game on the Will Hill 38-yard interception return. Fair catch is called for at the 24-yard line by Randall. So here's the situation for the Detroit Lions. They had a 7-point lead and the football. Now find themselves tied with their defense on the field. 3:45 remaining. The Lions are eliminated with a loss.
It's unbelievable. I mean, they were in complete control of this game again. They had battled all the way back. The big punt return by Jeremy Ross, the safety by Nick Fairley. The offense gets in stride. There's emotion, there's passion, not only on the team, but in this building. And then, boom, it's just in one play. That one play, everything is taken away.
So the Giants, who have gained only 8 yards on offense this half, with the momentum. Giants have not picked up a 1st down since the 2nd quarter. Manning hands it off, and it is Andre Brown out to the 30 for a gain of 6 with 3.5 remaining here at Ford Field in Detroit. No 1st downs for the Giants. Now 14 yards following the 6-yard pickup by Brown.
But we saw one earlier. You know, there were 0 1st downs, only 8 total yards for this offense. This defense, you cannot play to that level for the entire portion of this 2nd half, and with 3 minutes to go and the game on the line, allow a beat-up and battered offense the opportunity to go down the field and kick a field goal to beat you.
Second down and 4. Pressure on Manning, and he finds the tight end Myers. Brandon Myers across midfield. Finally tackled by Glover Quinn. Biggest play of the second half for the Giants. 24 yards.
This is either a tremendous play call or a great change at the line of scrimmage by Eli Manning. A little block there. They lose him in coverage. Ashley Palmer, all you need is that step, and he's beyond. He's beaten.
It's the first down of the second half for the Giants. 2:20 remaining. Manning on first down. He fires, and that deflects off the hands of Hakeem Nicks.
Just very strange that the season that Hakeem Nicks has had, and he may have jammed a finger on this one, but working from the top, he wins on the release. He beats his man to the inside. All he's got to do is make the catch.
Jonte Green on the coverage.
He's been an enigma this year. I don't understand it.
Working on the right hand of Nicks. Second down and 10 from the Lions 45. Manning airing it out. Jernigan unable to make the play.
Trying to do his best imitation of Mario Manningham on the sideline over there.
That's right. Super Bowl 46.
Working out of the slot, number 12. He's coming from the inside. Cross Lewis Murphy Jr. down inside. You've got your one-on-one. Just a little bit off target.
Hakeem Nicks back in. He's holding that right hand as he ran back onto the field. Third down and 10. Giants must get to the 35. Manning being chased by Willie Young. He throws, and it's knocked down by Glover Quinn. We hit the 2-minute warning in Detroit. Giants will punt it away. Lions need a win to stay alive. We are tied at 20. Lions lost on a 64-yard field goal on Monday night. Giants elect not to attempt a 63-yarder here.
I think it's smart. You know, try and bury them as deep as you can, hopefully inside the 10-yard line.
I was kidding, by the way. Weatherford's punt inside the 10. Fair catch is called for at the 9 by Ross as we head for a game break with Kurt.
A surprise in Seattle. Carson Palmer thrown 4 picks for Arizona today. This is his only touchdown, but it's a beauty. Michael Floyd, 31-yard reception. They had a 2-point conversion. Arizona leads it by a touchdown. Just over 2 minutes left at Seattle. Of course, the Seahawks haven't lost at home in 2 years. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Russell Wilson's never lost.
14-0 at home.
Everybody will be taking a look at that film. And how about the secondary for Seattle? The 5 picks off of Eli last week, 4 off of Carson Palmer this week.
Now the Lions, who must win to stay alive, start from their own 9-yard line. Stafford from the end zone connects with Bell, and Jordan Bell takes it out to the 20. Gain of 11. Lions first down.
What a nice block by Larry Warford on that screen. John Beeson is about to blow it up, and he catches him out of the corner of his eye and stones him.
Lions have 2 timeouts remaining. Following the heartbreaking loss on the 61-yard field goal by Justin Tucker on Monday. They had a 7-point lead. Giants have tied the game. And now Stafford, under pressure, throws it away.
Yeah, they got 2 timeouts with that last play. I'll tell you what, no sense of urgency. They're down to minute 15. Got a long way to go to get in field goal range.
Calvin Johnson has only 3 receptions today, bothered by knee problems all week long. All 3 of Johnson's catches back in the first half. Second down and 10. A minute 15 on the clock. Detroit with 2 timeouts. Stafford fires, and it's incomplete. Chris Durham unable to hang on. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Lions.
Wow. I can't believe he made that throw.
Me neither.
Wow.
This is so close to being picked off. If he doesn't have that zip on it right there.
So now it is 3rd down and 10. Lions must get to the 30. Empty backfield. 4 receivers set for Detroit. Stafford steps up, wrapped up. Down he goes. It's Kiwanuka with his 2nd sack today. Also has a forced fumble. What a game from Mathias Kiwanuka.
There he is on the outside right here.
Their 3rd and final.
Just an
This is a
outside
30
rush to a
second.
bull. Stafford steps up in the pocket, and that gives him an opportunity to come back inside for the sack.
Good combination. The combination with the secondary and the pass rush, Goose, right there, right? Working hand in hand.
The linebackers took a lot of that mid-throw out also.
Kiwanuka had a sack on the Lions' first possession today, which took Detroit out of field goal range. They were forced to punt. And now on the late possession in the 4th quarter, his 2nd sack today, also forced a Reggie Bush fumble, which led to a Giants touchdown. So now the Lions will send out the punting unit with 1 minute remaining. Giants have used their final timeout. Ruben Randle back deep. Lions must win to stay alive. The loss eliminates Detroit from playoff contention. Martin's punt, end over end. Randle backpedaling to the 28. Randle out of bounds at the 37. 9-yard return, 56-yard punt by Martin. So Eli Manning leads the Giants offense out onto the field with 50 seconds remaining. Good field position at the 37-yard line. And remember, Brown kicked a 52-yard field goal for the Giants back in the 2nd quarter. Giants need to go between 25 and 28 yards to get into field goal range. Pass is caught by Nix. And Nix heading for the sidelines, picks up a 1st down. Well, it's like he's just shy. Stopped just shy of the marker, but he did get out of bounds.
Yes,
with
yes.
42 seconds remaining, and that is the key.
Yeah, made amends for that drop on the previous drive because he should have been tackled in the field of play, but that's a heck of a hustle job getting to the sideline and stopping the clock. They don't have any timeouts left. The middle of the field, it's going to be difficult, you know, for the Giants to attack that middle of the field and get up there and get everybody set, get that ball clocked. You probably only got maybe 1 or 2 opportunities.
Giants need about 18 yards. They keep it on the ground with Brown. It's a 1st down into Lions territory. And now the Giants will hustle to the line. They have no timeouts. Manning on 1st down, fires, picked off. It was intended for Jernigan. Glover Quinn comes up with the interception. And that is a franchise record 26th pick thrown by Eli Manning this season. It's the Giants' first turnover today with 23 seconds remaining in regulation.
And what a killer this one is. Again, it's into the middle of the field. Overthrown. You've got 2 deep safeties. Glover Quinn just playing center field.
Just not on the same page with his receivers all year long.
I'm going to put that one on him, Tony. That's a bad throw into the middle of the field in that situation.
So now the Lions with 23 seconds and 2 timeouts. Stafford handing it off to Riddick. So the Lions will let the clock run down. Crowd does not agree.
Does anybody want to win this game? We're just going to stay tied the whole time.
So the Lions, who need a win to stay alive, the clock run all the way down, and we are headed for overtime here in Detroit. Wild second half. Lions score the first 17 points of the half. Giants then come up with a defensive touchdown.
Well, kind of not the game we expected at the start, as the Giants came out and played very efficiently and really kind of controlled the flow of the game. And it ends exactly how we thought, with Detroit trying to give the game away, the Giants throwing an interception when it looks like they might steal the game. So what started out as something, hey, this is going to be a good fun game, ends exactly how you would anticipate it to.
Well, it's not over yet.
Not over yet.
I think exactly what Moose said. Does anybody want to win this game? You know, you get momentum swings, you get turnovers, you get interceptions. Let's do something with it. It just seems like both of these teams are just waiting for someone to make a play instead of going out there and trying to make a play and make something happen.
Okay, captains, we're getting ready to play one 15-minute overtime period. At the end of the 15-minute overtime period, if the score is still tied, it will be declared a tie. Each team must have an opportunity to possess the ball. Okay, fourth quarter timing rules will be in effect. Each team will have 2 timeouts, and all of the replay challenges will be initiated by the replay assistants. New York, by being the visiting team, you get to call the coin toss again. The Giants logo will be heads, and the NFL logo will be tails.
Tails.
The Giants have chosen tails. And it's tails.
Want the ball.
They want the ball. Which way would you like to kick?
So the Giants will get the ball first in overtime. Lions need a victory to stay alive. Back in Detroit, Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, as we get set for overtime. First overtime game for each team this season. Giants have won the toss. There's Michael Cox back deep. Both teams with an opportunity to possess unless the Giants score a touchdown on the first possession of overtime. Cox will take it out. Michael Cox still on his feet, out to the 48-yard line.
What a gutsy play in that situation. Coming from that deep out of the end zone.
In the end zone, yep.
That was more than 5.
I'm almost surprised also that he went and took this out, Moose.
Let me tell you what, Goose, too. He's north-south in the return game, and he hit that on a line and never broke stride.
Officially a 57-yard return by Michael Cox. Eli Manning, 18 of 34. One touchdown pass and a late pick. Off the fake to Andre Brown. Manning hits the tight end Myers. And Brandon Myers picks up a Giants first down to the Lions 37.
Really like that play call. Your defense is going to be all hyped up to come onto the field to try and make a stop after the big return, and you use their aggressiveness against them with a bootleg out the back door.
Remember, if the Giants score a touchdown, the game is over. If they kick a field goal, Lions will have an opportunity. And the Lions need a win to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Inside handoff to Andre Brown. Ball comes loose out. Lions have it. Tom Coughlin said Brown was down.
We didn't hear a whistle up here in the booth. Andre Brown is still down.
The previous play is under review.
All replays in overtime initiated by the replay booth, so Jerome Boger will take a look at this play.
This is going to be our best angle to see if he's down. Looks like the elbow's down, then the ball comes out. But you can see Andre Brown reaching up for his right leg that's trapped in the pile. So the question is, do they see the elbow hit? Because you do have the clear recovery.
It has been a rough go for Andre Brown. 2 broken legs over the last 14 months. He has returned and is the Giants' leading rusher this season.
So since it was ruled as a fumble, the clear recovery will not come into play. The question is, did the elbow go down? Was he losing possession before the elbow hit? And that's what the replay officials will be looking at.
Mike Pereira joins us from Los Angeles. Mike, what did you see on that play?
Well, not a lot of clear video here. The question is going to be, and you guys have accurately pointed out, is the left forearm down before the ball comes out? Nothing clear. Look, trying to establish when is the ball out in relationship to that left elbow hitting the ground. And I think if you look at this again, go back to what they ruled on the field live. What they ruled on the field live was that it was a fumble, so you need indisputable evidence to overturn it. I'd like to think if I was under the hood, I wouldn't overturn it just because it's not really readily apparent to me that the ball wasn't coming loose when the elbow hit.
All right, thanks, Mike. So we will await the ruling from Jerome Boger. DeAndre Levy with the tackle.
On the one angle, it looked like he had the ball pressed against his body when the elbow hit the ground to me.
Kind of odd how when he went to the ground, Tony, his knees were supported by the Lions player that was underneath him. So
Yes.
it wasn't going to be until that forearm and elbow came down.
Only 1 career fumble for Brown. That was 2 weeks ago out in San Diego.
Let's take another look at it. Right here is the elbow. You'll see it hit the ground, and then the ball is right here pressed against his body. So if you go by this picture, it looks like it comes out right there. That's when the ball comes out. But when it almost his tricep hits the ground. So you never know, though, in these situations.
Well, I think that Mike Pereira made a great point. Is there enough on the video
Yeah.
replay to change what was called on the field? I agree with him. I don't think there is. I mean, it becomes very speculative at that point.
Fans here in Detroit react as the Green Bay-Pittsburgh score has gone up on the board, now tied at 31. Steelers had a 10-point lead.
All right, Moose, so you think that it's going to stick, and I think it's going to be turned over, so it's my sweater against yours.
Sounds good.
You in?
I'm in.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
I'm pushing my sweater to the middle of the table. This would be another huge missed opportunity for the Giants, the interception at the end of regulation when they're getting really close to getting into field goal range.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as a fumble. First down and 10.
So the call on the field stands. Darrell wins Goose's sweater.
Nice.
Congratulations, Moose.
Thank you.
You don't get the batteries, though.
So the Giants have had their possession. Next score wins the game. Giants did not turn the ball over for the first 59.5 minutes. They've now committed 2 in the last 2 minutes. Now 41 turnovers on the season committed by the Giants. So the Lions take over following the turnover at their own 28. Off the fake to Bell. Stafford's pass is dropped by the tight end Dickerson, who started to run before he had possession.
John Beeson came up in coverage. He fell down. I want you to watch number 52 as he crosses formation. He trips right there. This is a big play. And he puts it on the ground. Again, we mentioned it earlier. Nobody with more drops this season than the Detroit Lions, and there's a big one.
He's got Calvin Johnson out there in open field blocking. This is going to be a big play, like you said, Moose, if he does catch this.
Johnson, bottom of your screen. Split wide to the left. No catches since the first half for Calvin Johnson as Stafford hands it off to Joyce Bell, who's had a big day. There is a flag. Now 2 flags are thrown.
Holding, offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's on Dickerson. It's been a tough overtime period for the third-year tight end out of Pitt. Doran Dickerson, first the drop, and now the hold.
Working the tight end spot against Justin Tuck. Yep, that's an easy one.
Yeah, if you go down to the ground like that, you can't pull him down.
They all start with bad technique. Almost every holding penalty will start with initial bad technique, as Andre Brown is getting carted in. So that leaves the New York Giants down to Michael Cox as the remaining running back. John Connor, the fullback, could take some handoffs in some single back sets.
One of the stories of the season, the injured offensive lineman and running backs, and the Giants lose 2 more today. The right guard and now their running back. Giants certainly hope to get the ball back. Second down and 20. Stafford to Joyce Bell. And Bell takes it out to the 26. Jaquan Williams makes the tackle. A gain of 8. So it will be third down and 12 upcoming for the Lions. Lions had another fourth quarter lead. 7-7 record. Lone lead to the fourth quarter in 5 of their previous 7 losses. Lions had a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter today. Lions must get to the 38-yard line as Stafford throws, and Chris Durham unable to make the catch. Tremaine McBride all over Durham, so the Lions will punt it away.
Just difficult with Calvin Johnson not being healthy. I mean, he's a go-to guy in the situations we've seen at the end of the game. But Matthew Stafford has had to use other guys. Again, it's a quick little slant right there. Chris Durham almost makes a fantastic catch on the back end of the ball.
Sam Martin waiting back at his 11-yard line. Ruben Randall back deep for the Giants. Randall backpedaling, takes it out to 21. Randall turns upfield and is tackled at the 27-yard line. So the Giants with their second possession in overtime. They trailed by 7 late in the fourth quarter, and then Stafford's pass off the hands of Fourier. Will Hill takes it 38 yards for the game-tying score.
And we are hoping that the Detroit Lions have kind of turned the page on that style, on that misfortune, and are going to take the ball in that situation with the 7-point lead and just kill that clock down to 0-0-0. And they're revisited by the issues that they've had the last 5 weeks.
Michael Cox in a running back with the injury to Andre Brown. And Cox gets bottled up by Stephen Tulloch. Giants this season have lost David Wilson, Brandon Jacobs, Darrell Scott no longer with the team, Peyton Hillis out today, and now Andre Brown headed back to the locker room.
Looks like Eli Manning's having a hard time getting a signal into the puddle from the sideline.
Second down and 9. We are in overtime. Giants and Lions tied at 20. Standing under pressure, and the pass was tipped. He was looking for Bear Pasco. Nick Fairley got a hand on it.
I like to see more movement in the pocket. We're getting into the shotgun again. We're getting to that same launch point, and that is not a good place to be when you've got Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley coming from the inside. Early in the game, the Giants did a nice job moving that launch point with dashes and boots.
Fairley and Willie Young with the pressure. Now third down and 9. with time. He fires wide open. Taking it into Lions territory is Rueben Randle.
I know they've had success with some of the looping, Tony, but right now the Giants have adjusted to that. Eli's having some time. There's Willie Young, who went down inside, got pushed inside, and they did a good job of accounting for Ndamukong Suh coming around the outside. That was a long developing route.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of passing off those defensive linemen right now. They're not taking them on one-on-one. They're actually going and shuffling them down the line of scrimmage and building a wall on that line to give Eli a little bit more time.
That was a 26-yard pass play. Giants' longest play of the day on offense, as that pass was batted back by Devin Taylor, and then Manning does a good job knocking it to the ground.
Obviously, Eli Manning does not watch any news about the NFL, and changing the call at the line of scrimmage like Tony Romo did last week. I mean, this is almost the identical situation. You're backing out. Yeah, you've got an opportunity one-on-one, but it's covered pretty well by Chris Greenwood on the outside, and you've still got to get it past the defender. You've got Devin Taylor right in your face.
Second down and 10. Manning to Jernigan. There is a flag.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
These guys are breaking the cardinal rule of football, Tony. The first thing you can't do is beat yourself, and we've seen it here in overtime and late in regulation, that they can't get out of each other's way.
Yeah, Will Beatty, I mean, he's got Devin Taylor. I mean, he's 6'7". You got a lot of body right there. All you got to do is go and match him up right on the line of scrimmage, and he went and he hooked him and pulled him down. And you're exactly right. That's exactly what this offensive line is doing right now. They're beating themselves. They're going backwards instead of forwards.
Second down and 20. Manning under pressure from Suh, gets rid of it. It's Brandon Myers to the Lions 48.
Now they've been able to convert a couple of these third and longs during the course of the game, but you can't continue to get into this situation. And Ndamukong Suh very close on that last pass attempt. He's moved to the outside. He'll be rushing from the left end.
Third down and 13. Manning to Rueben Randle, but he's down at the 42-yard line. So now a decision for Tom Coughlin. Weatherford, the punter, has started onto the field. Now he's walking back to the sidelines, and the Giants leave the offense on the field.
I like this right here.
Fourth down and 7.
Take a shot. Yeah. Nothing's really happening right now. You're going back and forth. Both of these teams have been in the middle of the field.
Playing to win, he said it.
That's it.
Play clock at 2. Giants get the snap away. Manning throws, and the catch is made at the Lions 27 by Jarrell Jernigan. So the Giants go for it on fourth down and 7 in overtime. Manning hits Jernigan for a gain of 15.
And again, this defense, the inability to make the big play at the critical time in the game.
And now the handoff to Bear Pasco. That's his first carry of the season. Giants are without Andre Brown, so they give it to the fullback slash tight end Pasco, who gains a yard, and now he'll be replaced by Michael Cox.
It looked like his first carry of the season. He almost dropped that ball. He's got to work on that a little bit this week if he's going to get back there next week.
At least give John Connor a shot.
Oh, man.
At least he's touched it a few times.
Yeah.
That was Pasco's first career carry. Second down and 8. Off the fake to Cox. Manning's pass is incomplete, intended for Rueben Randle. 8:16 remaining in overtime. In case you're wondering from a Lions perspective what happens if this game finishes tied. Well, the Lions would stay alive as long as the Packers do not win today. So a Lions tie and they stay alive if the Packers do not win, and they are tied with the Steelers late in regulation. Now a timeout is taken by the Giants. Tom Coughlin going forward on 4th down and 7. Here in overtime, if the Giants did not pick up the first down, would have given the Lions terrific field position.
Yeah, but when we met with him on Friday and there were questions about whether it was safe or smart to play Eli Manning against this front, you know, worried about his health and do you going to want to look at other players for next year, he was very definitive in saying, listen, when we play, when we prepare, we do it to win football games. And in that situation, it's a 5-9 season. You've got really nothing to lose, so why not? Why not do it? I like the decision, and it paid off.
Giants can't move up, can't move down. They will finish in 3rd place. It'll be their first losing season since 2004. Manning's rookie season, Coughlin's first season as Giants head coach. But they've hung in there today, had a 13-3 lead at the half, gave up 17 consecutive points, and then tied the game on a defensive score. Giants committed a turnover early in overtime. Lions then punted it back to the Giants. It is now 3rd down and 8. Giants already in field goal range for Josh Brown, as Manning will take it to the center of the field. So Brown, who hit from 52 earlier, with a chance to knock the Lions out of postseason contention. Lions lost to Baltimore here on a 61-yard field goal on Monday night. They lost to Cincinnati on a 54-yard field goal earlier this season. This will be a 45-yard attempt by the 11-year veteran Josh Brown. Weatherford will place it down, but first the Lions call timeout to ice the kicker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that kind of,
Second and final charge, timeout.
we go back to what we talked about at the top, Kenny, though. It's the inability of the Detroit Lions to finish a game, to make the handful of critical plays down the stretch. And you can get focused on a 61-yard field goal or a 54-yard field goal, or if this field goal here goes in overtime as reasons you lost, but you're discounting those plays that were there for you to make during the course of the game that would have prevented you from getting to this situation. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that this team has to start doing. They have to stop looking at the finality of what went wrong and look at the course of the game and look at all the opportunities that were missed here today again in the second half of just putting this game away.
So here we go. Josh Brown, 45-yard attempt. Weatherford places it down, and Brown's kick from 45 yards out is good. The Detroit Lions lose for the 5th time in their last 6 games, and they have been eliminated from postseason contention. Giants win it in overtime, 23-20. We will return to Detroit in just a moment. Giants go to 6-9, Lions drop to 7-8. Back after this.